We don't get it intro, not on a day like this. What's up? My name is LaChance. I'm here with the Spooky Man. This is the Low Budget LCS Season 12 Commercial Finals. This series has already had so many technical issues, but we have persevered through it all. We are in draft. It's happening. Let's motherfucking go!
Oh, the series this hype, it is only fitting that we hop in immediately. Already first picks coming through with the Zach picked away here for Hylord Henchmen. Just to set the scene a little bit here, Hylord Henchmen versus Team Volatility Avalanche here in the final match of this season of the LBLCS, the finals of the Commercial League. Very excited to get into this. Honestly, look, this is a bit of an underdog story that we're seeing here. All right, Team Volatility Avalanche here coming in as quite a bit of underdogs. They were the 3 seed in their group. High Alert Henchmen coming in. They've only dropped 3 games this entire season. They are looking lean, mean, and ready to clean Team Volatility Avalanche up. First picks coming through here. We have the Zach picked away, a very contested pick. Both of these teams have placed a lot of priority on that Zach pick, and the Gragas Leona in the response. I'm already loving these picks from both sides. A lot of ways to start fights, which that's what we're here for, right? We're here to start some fights.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to see it.
I mean, just so many triggers to be pulled. It's CC Central. Now we need to see some damage. We need to see some follow-up. We've got plenty of champions already who can pull the trigger. Hey, that'll do it.
Right on cue, right on cue. This Jinx pick is actually a pretty high priority pick for both of these teams here. Already in this draft, High Alert Henchmen have kind of claimed 2 of what I would consider the most high priority picks for both of these teams. Both teams have shown a lot of success on both of them. The next high priority pick that I'm looking at here is the Aurelian Soul. Both of these teams have played a butt ton of Aurelian Soul in the mid lane. It has been a very powerful pick for both these teams in their playoff runs thus far. So interested to see who can get that as we see what gets picked here. The Xayah, a logical response, right? Into another pick. This is the other ADC pick that both of these ADCs kind of have in common that we've seen a lot of success with. So the fact that they do a little handshake and they each one of them gets one of them is very, very fitting. I love the Xayah here, in particular into the Zac. Really annoying for Zach to try and engage onto the Xayah with her ultimate up. So very interested to see how much damage he can output on this Xayah, because right now it's a very low damage comp. As the second rotation of bans here now coming through, a couple of top lane bans here for TV Avalanche, taking away a couple of very high priority picks. Honestly, Malphite, it does not matter what league of the LBLCS you watch, from economy all the way up to executive. Malphite is always a tier 1 pick, because when it gets late, when it gets sweaty, Malphite is the clearest go button in the game, next to maybe Ornn. So
and speaking of, here he is. This draft is just, big damage dealer ADCs and their retinue of bodyguards. Oh, we got another damage dealer here, though. Ahri and TF. Okay, things are starting to come into clear picture here.
Yep, this Twisted Fate, this is a great adaptation here from High Alert Henchmen. Honestly, I love this transition here. Grabbing the Twisted Fate here, which is going to be top lane. That is going to be an on-hit Twisted Fate top lane. Wow. Zach in the jungle, Ahri in the mid lane. A fantastic pick, in particular, into this Ornn. Just able to really bully the lane and really just like snowball ahead with a lot of side lane pressure. So big fan of this pickup here. The Diana getting picked up here, I'm actually very excited about as well. That's probably going to be a mid lane Diana pick here. So we're going to see the Ornn in the top lane, the Gragas in the jungle, Diana mid, Xayah Leona. I believe the only thing that might switch there is the Diana and the Gragas. And on the other side, the Twisted Fate in the top lane, Zach in the jungle, the Jinx, Morgana bot lane, and Ahri in the mid lane. Very different look in these 4 or 5 picks from either team, right? High Alert Henchmen, a lot of single target DPS, a lot of a lot of pick potential, a lot of side lane capabilities here, and very strong lanes. Ari and Twisted Fate perma pushing high intensity laners, and on the other side here, going for the Ornn pick. I mean, Ornn, can win a lane, but you're not picking Ornn to win lane, right? You're picking Ornn for the late game. You're picking Ornn for the 5v5. And so a very good pivot here from Highlord Henchmen to realize that there's an opening here. And if the Twisted Fate or the Ari get really far ahead, there is no one on Team Volatility Avalanche that will be able to withstand their onslaught in the side lane. So very excited to see if they can execute, because a side lane execution is so much more difficult than the 5v5 team fight comp that Team Volatility Avalanche has put together, which I love to see. TV Avalanche, we said at the beginning, they're the underdogs coming into this, right? Simplicity is king if you're trying to take down a team that's much better than you, right? I mean, it's so much easier to execute with an Ornn, Diana, Leona than it is for a Twisted Fate Ari on the opposite side. So two very different strategies here coming into the late stages of the draft, but very excited to see what these teams have in store for us here.
Speaking of strategies, you can implement everything that you just heard a Spooky Man walk you through as soon as you walk through the doors of the casino and place your bet at the tables. That's right, the doors have opened, the betting is live. Bet on your predictions if you'd like. Also, someone you don't know, I saw it there. Everybody say it with me. LeChance licks toes, and then a bunch of people throwing out those highlighted messages. The Cookie Nabber is one of them that jumped out to me. Just a great name.
Fantastic name.
You gotta nab those cookies. You gotta nab those cookies.
If you're not nabbing those cookies, someone else is going to take those cookies, right?
So
if I've learned one thing, in my 31 years on this earth, it is that if you don't nab the cookies are going to get nabbed from you.
That is the truth. Less Force coming in, tier 1 sub, 17 months, TVA, 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 TVA. Very clear who they are cheering for. Speaking of cheering, y'all have been so fantastic. Thank you so much for waiting for us. You absolutely lit the chat up as soon as we started. We can tell you guys are extremely excited for this series, and it's going to be a good one.
Never underestimate the power of
oh shit, the Cookie Nabber. Prime subbing with Prime. Thank you so much for sharing some of your cookies with us tonight. That's very generous of you. Just because you nab those cookies doesn't mean you don't have a warm and welcoming heart. A lot of hashtag Horks up as well. This is two organizations whose fans have really shown up to play.
100%. I was talking with Zelius prior to this match in the pregame lobby, and he said it. He loves both of these teams. These guys have been fan favorites, both of these organizations. So very excited for them to clash it together in the Rift and see who takes the championship for this season of the low budget LCS. So again, stakes are high. Very excited about that. I also see the Spooky 5 from Mighty Sport. I don't know what he's trying to insinuate here.
Dude, I can explain that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So you know how the low budget LCS's sort of organizational system is kind of based loosely upon sort of like roaming bands of raiders and sort of whoever the chieftain of that band is. That's how the streaming works. So every streamer has their own bits that they do, and Buggles is that you can make him drink because he's often drinking alcohol. So that's what Takes Two to Tango is. So he's saying you gotta drink for 5 seconds of whatever you're drinking. It has since flooded over. I must say, I don't drink alcohol while I cast this because, again, I got the tolerance of a newborn. It's not going to be funny for anybody. And
it'll be funny for a hot sec, and then it'll be
1 second.
For 1 second, and then
bits
it'll
have
be
lifetimes. You got to think about how long the bit's going to live. Vader
I didn't even
Coke,
see that he redeemed the Takes Two to Tango. I was a part of the original cast where Takes Two to Tango.
Oh, you know the whole. Okay.
I know the whole etymology. Where me and Buggle, it was one of the very early casts of low budget LCS, and it was in the middle of the day, and we were just like, all right, well, we're gonna drink this entire stream, and if any point you can slip in takes two to tango in the cast, the other person has to drink, and every time you get up to go get a drink, you have to say takes two to tango.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of so. In honor of that, I will redeem that for 5 seconds. I'm currently drinking a Fest beer, German style lager from Counterweight Brewing Company.
Ooh.
And I will drink that for 5 seconds. I will not hold the mic up to my mouth so that you hear it, but just know that I'm doing it.
Beautiful. Val, NTXNE, thank you so much for saying LeChance may or may not lick toes. Just casting a little bit of doubt in there. You seem like a pretty reasonable person, unlike the rest of these vagabonds. Also, maybe I did or did not say
these absolute ruffians coming in here with their toe licking malarkey.
Well, ruffian's the ruffian.
Well, ruffian the ruffian, right? But
right.
I ruffian in the more colloquial, widespread usage of it. Tiny hands in the chat.
Okay, dude. And Mighty. All right. Okay. We've. Sorry that I acknowledged even the barest amount of reasonable discourse. I see it as hard corrected to the other side. Yeah.
I think you just gotta hork up, dude.
Dude, that's true.
You just gotta hork up.
Yeah. Hashtag hork up. That was for that's the high alert chant, right? Somebody correct me. Set me straight here.
I believe so. Now, it would not be a spooky chance stream if I didn't have to request that you please share your screen. Thank you so much, my friend.
Absolutely. Already on it. Okay. Bacon United. Why does LeChance lick toes? Hey, someone you don't know. If you're still watching the stream, you can explain your own. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Never mind. Never mind. This is all one man's bit. One man's bit that gained.
One man's bit is another man's treasure. You know what I mean?
It's so true. It's just so true.
All right, we're loading up onto the Rift. This is very exciting. Happy to see that Gragas did go into the jungle. Diana did go into the mid lane. Yes. Diana has been rising in priority as a mid lane pick. They made a couple of small tweaks that have kind of made her a bit more mana friendly without the passive regen you get in the jungle. So her mid lane is a lot more stable. Now, I do not know the ins and outs of the Diana Ahri matchup, but I have to imagine it is rather Ahri favored, at least in the early pre-6 laning phase. But, again, you're picking Diana and Ornn. I don't think you're picking those for lane, right? You're picking those to be a great setup tool so that the Xayah can put out a lot of damage. Now, I got to ask, in the early game here, where is your eye naturally drawn to with these picks?
My eye, honestly, early game always drifts down towards the bot lane. It's that level 2. It's the most guaranteed hot spot. You just have multiple people. There's just more. Oh, no. Unable to download spectator data. The game will now exit? Oh, well, my God.
If we've learned one thing tonight, it is that this stream is undeniably cursed. Right?
I did not even want to mention. Things were going so well for a moment.
Well, honestly, they're going too well. I feel like everyone in the chat can agree that it was going too well, right? What are we doing here, right? This is the low budget LCS. Who are we trying to pretend, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm trying to reconnect right now. Let's see. Let's give it a go. So
I believe.
We're about to speed run a finals, folks. Oh boy. Oh howdy, son. So let's explain the other part of the curse. So we hop into the lobby. We were ready, by the way, prepared, all the graphics in the right place. We were just ready for this.
Of course.
Hop into the lobby. Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh fuck yeah! Oh my God! Okay, is it streaming to you?
Oh, I see it, baby.
Oh, cannot bring us down. We were fucking born in the darkness, baby.
Let's go.
All right. Do these things work? Come on, son. Oh, this is so exciting. My heart is racing right now.
Hell yes. My heart is racing too, but mainly because we're finally loading into the Rift for what should be an absolute bangerang of a series here. Both teams electing for a standard 5-point start, which, game 1 in a 5-game series. Of course, you don't want to get hoodwinked. You don't want to get skullduggered. So just trying to spot out every which way and keep things as simple as possible.
Yeah,
the budget was in fact
tricks
approved.
I love that. We turned the lights on finally. We relented. We paid our electricity bill. It happened. We're here. But I agree. I think you're of two minds when it comes to tricks and traps, right? You either gotta do it right away and commit super hard to it, or just decide, hey, listen, it's a best of 5. There's time for tricks and traps later. Let's just be chill. Let's just play it out.
Right.
Let's do some classic, clean, easy b-ball, work on our dribble and passing, right? It's not always about the threes. It's about the layups as well.
Wow. This guy clearly knows everything there is to know about
I play a lot of basketball. I play basketball every Monday. That boy Truth with the red card right here. Just landing on Grease. I'm stealing your schedule. Spooky.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah, I know.
I'm aware.
I know you're aware.
I was
Just
saying, I
for
was
the
like,
people
wow,
at home.
you've been rather absent the last couple Mondays.
Different
I suppose.
court. Different court.
Different court.
Yeah,
different
yeah,
court.
yeah. Different court.
Now, already, I'm starting to see something that is a bit of a worrying sign here, right? Okay. In the top lane, Ornn has elected to take Grasp of the Undying. Now, Grasp of the Undying, a fantastic rune on Ornn when he is in a melee versus melee matchup, because he has the capabilities to proc it very frequently because of how often he's tussling.
Yes.
Against this TF, though, realistically, I do not know how many times he is ever going to see that keystone get used. So would have really loved to see either an aftershock, would have loved to see maybe even a unsealed spellbook, something to provide a little bit more value later in the game, because that's really what he's playing for. So again, a very small optimization here, but in League of Legends is a game of thin margins and small advantages, and so something that is a worrying sign for me. But I mean, already looking to trade pretty aggressively pretty early. Yep, there's one proc.
Yeah, as long as he can land that combo. But you're totally right, and I always say weird works when it comes to League of Legends, and this is exactly the kind of advantage you can gain by playing something weird, simply because you've set your Ornn runes. You're there. Why would you change them? Well, because you are in this very weird ranged matchup. He's back in early for boots, a pink, a health pot. All right, he's ready to go. The Bald Goose diving in right here. Him has got to get to safety. Another auto attack.
Ooh, that hurts. The Bald Goose playing this matchup very aggressively. Maybe my initial understanding of this matchup is a little skewed. If this Diana is capable of getting onto the Ahri without getting charmed and interrupted on her dash, it has a lot of potential to really lay a beating down. But to your point there about picking weird picks, it's kind of crazy that in the Lord of our Savior Jesus Christ 2024, that Twisted Fate top is not a weird pick. It is 100. It is such a common. That's so weird to think, right? Like what banana land universe are we in, right? When this is getting picked in pro play across the MSI, across all the different regions. We've seen it a bunch even this season of LBLCS. It's such a strong pick, and it feels very weird. It used to be if someone picked an AD Twisted Fate in your game, that was such a meme. Like, if you had an AD Twisted Fate in your game, you were like mad. You would be spam pinging their first buy rapidly. But now it's just they've decided he's going to be
news to me. I must have missed all of the games. I don't think I've cast one yet. But that's fucking sick, and you can definitely see that it's going to bring, the utility of the champion as well, just to show up wherever and in coordinated play. That's what it's all about.
Oh, 100%. I mean, just like it's so good in just so many. It makes so much sense, like when you break it down, because it generates so much extra gold. And additionally, they basically the big reason is that they adjusted his AD scaling, and they adjusted the fact that when he picks a card, it's an auto attack reset, so he can now like rapidly throw a quick trade at you as a
Metal's going to dive right in right here, but the return binding is actually going to lock them in place. They're just on the pull as Nox gets these autos off.
Great trap placement there from It's Nox. Full Metal dives in, gets locked up, and then It's Nox throws it behind the Leona, kind of keeps it.
And this is what we're talking about. Ooh. There's the gold card, the flash forward, the charm does land. Do they have the damage? Bald Goose getting there. Oh, first blood. They will fall, but a fight down in the bot lane. It's Nox looking quite low. One more auto would do it, and they get it. Oh my god. ADC and support fall at the same time on opposite teams. Igabajif just gonna go back to farming right here, but excitement all over the map, all at once.
A great roam there from the Twisted Fate. That really well coordinated there, right? Diana uses her dash to help clear the wave, is looking to back, but the wave is so pushed up that she has such a long way to go to get back. They take full advantage of that. A great R placement from that boy Truth. And Panther on the Zac layers the CC together. They layered it perfectly. They landed the Zac, they landed the gold card, they landed the charm, back to back to back, and that Diana was just locked into place as they get the first blood pickup there. But then the follow-up on the bot lane, a little bit of a skirmish there. Kill does go over to the Xayah. They're able to push out the wave. I think it's going to be a big influx of gold for the sole hyper carry on the side of TVA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is what you want, right? You want that. The goal is in the perfect place for TVA.
Yeah, exactly where you want it to be. TVA, of course, going to turn onto this dragon, pick up the first one. It's a nice infernal. And that gank in the mid lane, oh, Kreese. Got the Horn being called right there. It does not quite connect there. That boy Truth going to respond with the gold card. Just auto him down a little bit. But we're starting to see what they're gonna want to rinse and repeat. They're gonna want TF to continually show up with that gold card, guaranteed these ganks. And we call it roaming because it is, but it's so much easier on this Twisted Fate, right? You just
100%.
can show up. You don't have to worry as much about, time being wasted walking in one way or the other. Ooh, I see magic. Trying to make some magic right here. Hiding around the corner. Full Metal does connect. They go in, but the binding lands, and look at that. The zap as well. We might see a dead Metal right there. It is. Bald Goose coming down. Silver Spade gonna go in. Oh my god, the damage coming through from the Diana. Ooh, bit of a miscommunication as the binding lands under tower, and that's a double kill for Silver Spade.
What looked like a great setup there. Full Metal goes in, but Silver Spade gets the Black Shield on just in time. Doesn't get rooted up from the E from the Leona. And then Leona just in no man's land. They're right a little too pushed up a little bit of skirmish.
Yeah, that's the ult going right there. They're going to flash forward, but they don't quite get it. It's Nox still has rockets being chosen, and they are just being autoed down by Igabajit, who just, what a patient play right there. Walked out from the bush, autoed them down, ulting, flashing. Not everything lands, but over time, they get the kill. And
that was
another
great
gank up in the top lane. The gold card lands, the charm as well, just guaranteeing all of this CC. But this is an Ornn we're talking about. He's a tanky boy. That's when he's going under tower, taking some damage. But Gragas actually pushing them to safety. And they're going to get out clean and easy.
They are going to get out clean and easy. That was, to start things off, Igabajif really well played there, knows his limits, knows how much damage he has, knows that he can just walk it. It's Nox does not have back
to back to back. There's so much CC. We talked about it in the early stages of the ground. Oh, a hero play from the minion right there. Blocking the zap, blocking the slow. Full Metal dodging the binding right here. Great sidestep. That's what pushes are for, right? You cut the vision, you get another angle. But speaking of angles, the Bald Goose trying to find one right now. Waiting in the bush, they're coming down. There it is. Leona's gonna drop the ult, get a little bit of a slow. Gonna connect onto It's Nox right there. There's the binding, very nice. They actually dodge it. Hold on. Can Jinx get excited there? They're down to half health. They do get the kill, but now Silver Spade alone as 2 damage dealers rip them to shreds. 10 kills in 10 minutes. This game's gonna be a banger. Kreese gets the knock up this time. The first one was just a dress rehearsal. Gold card does land right here. That boy Truth gonna walk back in, get some auto attacks in, but woo, okay, we are off to the races.
We are off to the races. A lot of priority from TVA here on this bot lane. The Bald Goose dropping a minion wave in the mid lane to go down it there and push the advantage, right? They clearly see that they have the strength right now in the 2v2 with a little bit of assistance, and they're pushing the pedal to the metal, which you love to see. They really need that. And it's, as Less Force calls out in the chat, it is very unfortunate that Morgana got all the kills.
Good flash away from him, but Leona is going to come in, root them up. They're too close to tower. They are going to get out of there.
Yeah, I see Magic is hanging around here, hoping he can make something happen, but him with that ult up is very difficult to gank. A lot of safety in that Ahri pick. As now they just kind of take that pressure that they had mid, and they just kind of rotate it down to the bot lane. The support jungle duo of TVA, using, with the person that had the Bald Goose TP's in.
Goes around the corner, still got some dashes from him. But that flash forward! Oh my god, the charm still connects, but Bald Goose cleans up that kill. What a great play.
Bald Goose, unbelievably good flash there. Predicts that him is going to ult, flashes forward to get the last proc on his ult as it comes down. That was very clean. A really, really smooth play there.
Oh, speaking of smooth, look at this. The simultaneous ganks. Here we go. Leona ult not landing on an Ox right there. Gragas on the back line. Oh, Jinx actually being knocked out of position as Ikabajev is going quite low. Who can get the kill? Look at that. Jinx is excited, trying to kite as best they can, but it's towards the tower. Zap is going to connect right there. The barrel goes through, but it's Leona who finds their way to the back line and actually gets the kill onto Jinx's Full Metal, trying to make it all the way back, but there's a lot of damage, but not enough. Full Metal makes it out alive.
Little bit of miscommunication there from IC Magic and Full Metal. IC Magic knocks him out of the CC chain, and so Jinx able to get a lot more damage out in that fight. But in the end, is a 1-for-1. So I think both, on the side of TVA, you're gonna be happy with that, considering of how many resources HAH poured into that fight. But now, we're going into this mid game here, and it has just been an absolute slugfest from both of these teams.
And why would it ever stop? Silver Spade in a lot of trouble right here as the Bald Goose is going to come in. That's a nice binding, but oh my god, the trap being sprung right now is IC Magic going deeper into the jungle. Can he find his way over the wall? He's trying to get some health back. Does take the blast cone over. Actually isolating the Zac for a second right there as him jumps over the wall, jumps out. Who have they got there? Rooted up as the Bald Goose going quite low. Full Metal having to one-way, but Panther, that's going to be the passive. And TF has ulted in. The gold card lands onto the Diana right there. Silver Spade trying to come along, finding an angle. That's going to be TF being taken out of the fight as Ikabajev looking quite low here. One more shot doesn't. Oh my god, Nox is excited. They get the kills. They get the cleanup. That's the double kill for the Jinx, and they get the Dragon too.
They just, in the end, a 5v4 from HAH. Ornn, crease on this Ornn for TVA. Does not have the TP up, is not able to follow the roam of that boy Truth, and they just clean up the 4v5. A valiant effort though from TVA, a really well played fight. It looked like it was going to swing potentially in their favor until that boy Truth showed up and really kind of put the kibosh on that fight and take it. And they also are able to take the dragon away to kind of stop the stacking, and it looks like get this bot turret. So a massive influx of gold here now. That is now a 5K gold lead for HAH off the back of that fight. Just a really big influx of gold, in particular on this Jinx. This Jinx, if we'll remember, was 1-4 and some change, well behind the curve of the game, but now has a shutdown, picked up so many kills, and then that first turret gold in that extended skirmish. So going to be very happy from the side of HAH. Their gold now swinging massively into their favor. Just hopefully, Crease, the TP is now up on this Ornn. So hopefully the next big skirmish, which will probably around this Herald, realistically, or the next Drake fight, he'll be able to join and kind of put the fight onto even footing.
Just Supa saying it very well. Those heat-seeking Morg Qs, but let's see, because they're going to need some of that right now. Silver Spade is going to ult. Going to find their way to the other side of the lane. Him is coming down, looking for a target. The binding does land. Him's got to connect on something. There's the charm onto the Diana. Leona ult, but a good dash. He's going to reposition himself. Jinx Rocket doesn't quite get a kill just yet, but that's going to do it to get him excited. And to the cleanse as well. And this is just a complete turnabout as High Alert comes down. and slaughters the sieging forces of TVA on that tower. They save the tower, they get the kills, they just get everything they want.
They really do. On the opposite side, they are going to try and go for this, but even then, a fight breaks out here. They have the members still alive. They didn't lose a single member in that fight.
Not at all. Kreese gonna call for the Ornn ult right there. He actually gets it. That's a big pop of damage as TF goes down. Panther trying to flash away, but him has shown up, trying to get some kills, trying to lend some damage. I don't know if anybody's getting Rift Herald right now. I see Magic will go down in the end. Ahri having to auto him down for a little while, but just non-stop action. North of 20 kills this game, 25 kills as of right now. This is a bloody one.
Absolute slugfest there. Really want to call out Silver Spade there. 3v1 dive under the turret, stays alive, lays down so much damage in CC, gives time for him and its Nox to show up and clean up the fight. That dive in the bot lane kind of reeked of some desperation there from TVA. They can feel the game slipping away from themselves as they tried to take something that maybe was a little ill-advised. They had, at the time, no vision set up in that bot side, had no eyes on the mid lane, on the ADC, so if they couldn't get the kill immediately, they had to get out there as soon as possible, but really well played from the side of HAH. Just a really clean response is now Bald Goose forced to flash away, but hits the charm. There's the knockup. There's the ult, but is not enough to get the kill onto the Bald Goose. Is now Full Metal and Ibagajif hanging around, but I don't know if you want any of this smoke.
Yeah, Full Metal in a little bit of trouble here as there's just too much CC. They are going to drop the ult, and Ibagajif's getting a lot of feathers down. A big pullback, but not enough. Is Silver Spade going to land their ultimate onto Igabajif, and as the damage shows up, they just get taken down. Double kill for the Morgana.
Double kill for the Morgana. Silver Spade is playing out of his mind, honestly. I mean, as was called in the chat, heat-seeking Qs. I mean, he is hitting everything. And now 8 kills. He's actually so accelerated in this game. He has about as much item purchased as the mid lane of the Bald Goose. So that is just another AP carry now with the Liandry's built that they have to contend with, which is very annoying, right? For this Ornn, who is in the top lane, look at how much armor he has built. First item, Frozen Heart, you know, going for the Sunfire. So he's going to have a lot of armor stacked up just to even have a chance in this side lane against that boy Truth, who's already finished the Bork. And now he has 2 AP carries to deal with in this Ahri Morgana. So it's going to be a very difficult itemization game for Kreese, who realistically is going to be that frontline presence. I see Magic electing to go for the AP build, which I do like, because otherwise they are kind of low in damage, but that does put a lot of the onus on Kreese to be there, right? Because, you know, he's against the TF with that ult, who's going to be up more often than his teleport is, and B, frontline against a wide spread of damage types. So I do not envy Kreese in this game. He has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. Little help from Full Metal here, going to be obviously on that tanky Leona, but has already been set behind pretty aggressively. So a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely, and it seems like the decision is like part of that responsibility, making responsible decisions, giving up this dragon, don't even contest it. You don't have the damage yet. They instead make a play in the mid lane, and they're going to pull out from there. But there's a long road to close this gold gap. What are some of the things they're going to have to do to get even close to winning these fights?
I think what they're going to have to see from them is basically what we saw right there, right? They're going to have to get creative about finding trades on the map to at least stay gold neutral in a lot of this, right? Additionally, you know, I think they're going to have to try and look for some coordinated vision plays
or
on
a
the side
pick
lanes.
right here as the Bald Goose looks for a kill on Truth, but actually backs off.
Yeah,
Potentially had him dead to rights there.
I mean, he had one more dash kind of ready to go, but with the ult already expended, and the Twisted Fate, right, this is an 80 Twisted Fate, so like his damage is going to ramp up as the fight goes on, right? So as he gets those Bork procs and whatnot, and once Diana kind of blows her combo, right, if he hasn't chunked the TF enough, you know, he sees that potentially if the fight is a prolonged skirmish, that she's probably not going to win that, right? She elected for the Lichbane first, right? So this isn't a Nashor's Tooth Diana, which has a bit more prolonged DPS, just has kind of that one-shot build, which, I mean, in her defense, 100% the right pick here into something like a Jinx, into something like an Ahri, right? Where like you're probably not going to get off a lot of auto attacks. So electing instead for the kind of burst build, along with the Gragas, who was also rushed that Lich Bane. So, as I'm saying, I think that they're not going to be able to pick anyone 1v1 in this side lane, barring a bit of a misplay, right? So I think they're going to need some coordinated vision setups in these side lanes, but to try and get a pick, preferably onto the Twisted Fate, maybe force him to use his ult, right? Because the Twisted Fate without the ult, the Ornn will have the TP advantage, and they can potentially set up on an objective. But until that kind of happens, they're going to have to just keep it even and hope that they can show up big at a team fight.
Totally. Well, this could be it. They've got double numbers. A flash away from Nox right there as the Ornhorn is going to go down. Silver Spade is going to be the target as Igabajif gets that kill. They find the Jinx as well. The screen couldn't get all of it at once, but that was a great pick from them. They brought superior numbers and did exactly what they needed to do to get 2 kills.
100%. They had perfect vision set up in that bot side jungle. So HAH had only rough ideas and machinations of where it is that TVA could be, right? Look at all that ward coverage they have set up in that jungle, and they're going to do the right move here. They got the kill onto the bot lane. They've got that time, and they're going to force a fight on the Baron.
Absolutely. Yeah, once you have the numbers, and this is the kind of thing you need to do to close the gold gap. Panther showing up. That boy Truth is here. He's got the gold card selected. Zach is going to go in. The exhaust goes down onto the TF. Front to back, they're fighting. A Jinx Rocket does connect with this. Him is here, but there's so much damage coming through as the tide is actually starting to turn. Icy Magic now cut down, and him just goes forward and gets it all, as that is a triple kill for the Ahri, and everybody from TVA goes down, and that is going to be numero uno Baron turned over.
Yeah, the big 3v5 fight win there. That boy Truth, it's easy to forget with an AD range top laner. They have 2 ADCs, right? So its Nox goes down, but that boy Truth able to come in, provide some DPS, but big shout out to him. Him played that fight so perfectly, flashes forward, ensures that a massive amount of DPS there, and honestly earns that triple kill immensely. I mean, Ahri is not considered like a high sustained DPS champion, but he output so much champion. He had every single ability on maximum number of targets. So just a really well played fight there to win a 3v5 fight around Baron, right?
Yeah, that was big.
3v5, baby. I mean, it doesn't really matter what else happens. 3v5 is impressive either way. Calling out in the chat here, Beyond Kamamba. Love that name. Calling out, great Zach setup though. 100% true. That Zach E to start it. I mean, he hits a 3-man knockup just to start it. Buys so much time. The healing that comes through when Zach R's and the amount of blobs that he can pick up there just gave him so much sustain as he's able to ride out the onslaught. Takes it all. The Bald Goose lands a really big R there, so it looks like the fight might swing back into their favor, but not enough in the end as we enter into a pause.
The perfect time to respond to Kabos's statement. Did him the guy just change to him? Yeah. Him used to be called him the guy, but then he was actually able to get him, which, I mean, I'm shocked that anybody on the internet is able to get sort of a one-word thing like that.
100%.
Very impressive.
In the chat here, Spooky, did you happen to mean Blanco Mamba? 100%. I have dark mode set on, so the L looks like an I, because in the blue it's very. So I
also have dark mode on, so Lachan should know who I am. I do. I just also can't read your name because I can't tab out of this screen for fear that
100.
Everything will fall apart.
100%. I am in the same boat. So I just saw, but Blanco Mamba is a fantastic name. I also like Bianca Mamba though. If we're being honest, I think both names are pretty legit. But great call out there with the Zach setup.
Just it was in fact hiding. Thank you so much for being the newest investor in the low budget LCS. You followed us 14 minutes ago, and this seems like the appropriate time to give our heartfelt, sincere thanks. And I know what you're thinking. They're vamping because it's a pause and they don't know how long it's going to take. How dare you? How dare you insinuate that hiding? We are not hiding behind hiding. We are very up forward and front facing, and we just want to say thank you to you, the newest investor in the low budget LCS.
We wouldn't be what we are. We wouldn't have long, monotonous pauses. We wouldn't have delayed start times. We wouldn't have stream crashes if it weren't for all of our wonderful investors who keep the lights on.
Oh, we're blaming them.
Just barely, but it keeps the lights on, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah, this, you know, we knew in our heart of hearts that there would be a pause this game. Do we know the reason?
I do not. I don't have I'm not in the game, so I don't see the chat.
There's a baby who needs some attention, which is reasonable.
You know, I feel as though that baby, if they could,
what hard take are you about to take?
If they, I feel like I have a bit of a hot take here. I feel as though if you just calmly explain to a baby the stakes of this match, that I can't imagine a single baby that would. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, IRL things come first. We're not playing for anything. There's other than the glory. Spooky hates babies.
Glory.
Okay, you caught me. You caught me. I hate babies.
Thanks, Tiny Hands.
It's a well-known fact.
I'm not being facetious. Thank you. That was worth a highlighted message. He needed to be called out. Less forced babies are known for their ability to logically process things out of their control. Yes.
100%.
Famously well-tempered.
Exactly.
Do you think you have any
famously
memories?
even keeled?
Do you think you have any memories of when you were a baby?
Well, define like up to what age? What's
a baby? A baby is Tiny Hands. Help us out here. Month wise, what is a legally defined baby?
When does a baby become a toddler?
That's a great question. I'm gonna guess 2, 3. I'm gonna guess 3. I feel like 3 years old is a toddler.
Yeah, I'm gonna call out Droxers here. Can't believe he hates what he is. I am a super mega baby. That is a fact. Up to 2 years old. Toddlers are 2 to 4. Okay, so you were right the first time.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. So up to 2 years old. Do I remember anything from? I have a vague recollection of there was a very scary plant at my parents' first house that we had when we were, again, only when I was very, very young. And I have a vague mental picture of not even like what it looked like, but just like emotion of like fear and like avoidance. Like I didn't want to be around it. It's like a swirling fear kind of feeling. But again, I don't know. Maybe that was 2 to 3, my guess. But yeah, that's the closest. What about you? You got anything?
Earliest memory, I think I have a memory of looking up at my dad's face when I was like extremely young. But I also think that I've fabricated that. But I mean, that's memories, it's the memory of the memory, etc., etc., etc. I also had a plant-based fear when I was a child, though. I had a nightmare about a plant growing through my foot. And yeah, it was a repeating nightmare. It is because my dad's so handsome. Thank you, Tiny Hands. I'm so, hey, and you know what? Let's really take a moment to do the important thing. Let's wish Tiny Hands a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Tiny Hands. It's not today, but it's soon.
True. It's coming up, and we all can't wait. We all got you bags of bugs that we're gonna unleash in your home, and we're gonna have a fun little day of bug collecting. So get ready for that. It's gonna be a hoot.
Loud cicadas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The most chill of all bugs to unleash in someone's house.
That's true. That's true. No, now everyone will get my power. Huh. All right. I want to know more.
Ooh, the cookie nabber. Can I get a bag of waffles instead of bugs? Sure.
Bro,
it's about a 5-to-1 bug to waffle conversion rate.
Yeah.
So
you're still getting a lot of waffles.
You're still getting a lot of waffles. Not as many as if you got bugs. I'll just throw that out there.
Think about it. Where Papoa, I want a waffle. Me too, Lil Dear Lilia. I also wish that Papoa could make me some waffles right now. I haven't had a waffle in a while, but I'm a big fan. I like that they can hold syrup, and I think I used to have a waffle maker, and I made such good waffles that I'm kind of afraid to order them out at places, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want a bad waffle. And I'm going to say something. I think that that restaurants typically try harder when it comes to making pancakes. I don't think they try to have good waffles. I think that buttermilk waffle is a phrase that has been co-opted by restaurants to just be like a big waffle, and it's flavorless, it's tasteless. They don't work hard on the batter, and then these beautiful pancakes are coming out of the kitchen. I'm like, what's going on here?
Wow. So do you think that there's a big conspiracy afoot? Like, are you?
No, I think it's a bias. I think it's an unconscious bias.
Well, do you think maybe the profit margins on pancakes are higher than they are on waffles?
I think it's a representation thing.
When was the last time you ordered a waffle, ate a waffle, bought another waffle?
I think
pancakes, on the other hand, that is a frequent occurrence, right?
Yeah.
You buy a half stack of pancakes and you get bottomless pancakes, right? Yeah. So I'm just saying, I feel as though this might be, they're thinking with their wallets rather than their hearts.
Yeah. I feel like it has something to do with how often people order pancakes in like TV shows and like movies. I feel like I just don't see waffles at like represented as much as a breakfast food. I'm actually not even really kidding about this. I feel like they'd go from pancakes and they'd skip right to like muffins and stuff. I just don't see a lot of all right, Hiding has subbed to us with their Prime. This conversation
what a champion
has, for some reason, I saw you were having a great conversation in the chat there with people. But this, thank you, Hiding. We appreciate you once again. We appreciate you big time.
Big time.
Cookie Never.
Slim it down big time.
Cookie Never, I'm with you. I like waffles as a tool better than I like pancakes. But
I mean I love me a Belgian waffle, right? A little bit of whipped cream on top, and like you ever get like maybe some strawberries and whatnot. Like, ooh, now you got yourself a stew. That's pretty good.
You think they're better in Belgium? You think?
No, I feel like it's like how.
Like a myth.
Yeah, I feel like they don't have them there. Like if they do, it's only like near the airport.
Right.
Right.
It's like French fries.
It's like French fries, exactly. You mean freedom fries?
Sorry, yeah, my bad. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Where'd my patriotism go? Do we have any Belgians in the chat? Unlikely, but possible. Game is paused. Time for the waffle. Listen, if I was the waffle cam guy, Cookie Nabber, I would be. The amount of waffles I'd be making. I mean, really, truly, round of applause for Papoa. He makes the batter beforehand. Like that's
wild.
Prep. That's handmade waffles.
Yeah,
very impressive.
He even took some welding courses and he made his own cast iron waffle press. It's quite a setup he's got there.
Yeah, it's extremely impressive. I'd love if it sort of was all a little bit of a bit, and this was Papoa working towards just being like a short order chef, just like all breakfast food.
If Papoa opened a Waffle House, I mean, I would be there opening day. I'd fly across the country. I don't care where he is. Hell, I'd fly across the country even if he lived in my house, so that way I could fly back and show that much support.
You know who I would really fly far to go see is Accountium Ferrex, who posts some of the most delicious looking food in the
No, game's been unpaused.
Game has been unpaused, although it's at 0. This might be the customary All right, we're back.
We're back in it. All right.
Now, if you pay attention really closely, because we're such skilled storytellers, you'll hear that we're actually going to weave all of the themes that we brought up in the pause into the rest of the cast. So just hold on to your seats.
Do you think you could make waffles in a George Foreman grill?
Of course I could. That appliance is capable of anything spooky. Even
true.
making waffles. God, I'm hungry.
Yeah, honestly, all of this waffle talk during that pause is honestly like
Waffle
it's I'm waffle talk. Honestly, let's call this finals a draw and let's all go out to get some waffles. Huh? How does that sound? Huh? Chat, you can come too.
Wow, both the teams chose peace. It was an option the whole time.
The real League of Legends was the friends we made along the way.
Wow, that's really beautiful.
That's beautiful. But what is extra beautiful is HAH here on Soul Point.
Great transition.
Yeah, I have my moments. On the opposite side, the Bald Goose pushing up this top lane and going to clear out, trying to get something back for his team. 9K gold difference, almost a 10K. It is looking bleak from the side of TVA.
Yeah,
and I think if I'm on the side of TVA, obviously you fight to the end, right? But I'm looking ahead at this is a 5-game series. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint, right? So I'm looking ahead at potentially what kind of adaptations we can make.
The lessons that can be learned
exactly
in the classroom.
100%. And I think a big one is I think potentially trying to get the Bald Goose onto something with a bit more damage, a bit more, right? Because right now this is kind of in the late game, a 1 damage comp with this Zaya, and I think there's just so much more. This is in fact a best of 5. Believe it or not. So buckle on in. Now with this Baron, they are just pushing up in all 3 lanes right now. They have pressure in all 3. They're going to push up, try to siege onto these tier 2 turrets, and just really crack open this game. They've already broken the mid turret
too. I love the TFs in the mid lane, able to support either side at a moment's notice. Jinx has these 2 great bodyguards, one thick buddy, one intelligent one, and I was trying to think of what stat Morgana would have. Clearly a wizard. Diving in though under tower. They believe that they can do this. Leona. Oh, great spell shield right there. That was picture perfect from Silver Spade. Absolutely fantastic. That boy Truth going for the Zyra right there. A teleport being channeled. Zygamajif in trouble. But the knockup from the Zac. That's massive. And there it is. So much damage collapsing down on them. The Jinx is going to get excited right there. Another 2 to fall, and a binding will be sure to bring another one into the pockets of the Jinx. It's Nox looking pretty strong right now.
Pretty strong indeed. Big performance again in that team fight from him. Him is in fact him in this series. Right now up 4K gold on the Bald Goose. The Bald Goose hit a big 3-man ult, but just could not make anything happen there. Him now with the 16 stacks on the Magi's, 4 completed items. He is just so far ahead and just is outpouring so much damage. And it's so hard for them to lock him down. With the Zhonya's completed now too. Already a very, very tricksy champion, and even more so now with that. So it's just very difficult to lock it down. It's Nox played right on the edge of that fight, output a ton of damage, and then obviously big shouts to Silver Spade here again on this Morgana, really just pouring out so much utility and damage. I think, again, it's been a very it was a very back and forth early game, but it was just that big team fight in the bot lane around the dragon pit that kind of broke this game open. It's been tough for them to bounce back, right? You fall back behind 5K against a team as powerful as HAH, and it's going to be very difficult to do anything.
TF in the 1v2, but they're just gonna walk on out. Silver Spade was on the way. They had nothing to worry about. I think you guys are summoning Captain Planet in the chat. Looks like also just Supa. That was very sweet. You're all of our League of Legends as well. That boy Truth gonna walk back up. He's gonna get the gold card off, but it's still a 1v2 Truth, and the Ornn Horn is gonna get called, and they do indeed have both the damage and the CC to kill that TF.
Ain't that the truth? This Twisted Fate pick, has been putting in a lot of work, but I will say if there is a glimmer of hope that you can look at from TVA, it's that they have been able to find some picks on that boy Truth, and that boy Truth.
Full metal. Just a truck just screamed out in front of them in traffic, and but here it is. That's everything onto them. The bald goose just gets cut down in an instant, and even though it was a 5v4, it's a 4v4 in the blink of an eye. Him over the wall right here, just with so much damage, and massive from Xayah, but they just don't have the kill yet, and now Nox is excited as the Jinx is going to go in, and Igabajif just gets cut down as him finds their way to the back line, and the Jinx still just at a third health, but all you need is 1 health, and once again, they are going to wipe the whole team and march on down through the mid lane. This will probably be it. I think they've got the damage, and the death timers are
100%,
lining up.
100%. This is 100% game here. Just going to march on through a really well set up fight. Panther on this Zac, a really good engage. Catches him over the wall with Silver Spade up with the Black Shield already on him. Just nothing they can do. Just hit him over the head with the wallet in that last team fight there. Honestly, it was just, they're just so far ahead gold wise. But TVA, lot to be excited about there from them, right? A lot that you can look at as a potential thing to exploit. I think in this top lane, I think Kreese, honestly, I thought outperformed that boy Truth. So I think that might be a lane that they might want to pick a matchup that they can kind of allow him to kind of flex a bit. And in the bot lane, I mean, the amount of damage that Igabajif put out there on that Xayah was second most in the game. He put out a ton of damage. So I think keeping him on a pick that he's comfortable with, I think just setting up some pieces around him that I think could allow him a better chance of carrying. But really well played there from HAH. Got to give credit where credit is due. They just really had their number, just really knew where to take it in the mid game, right? They picked this pretty aggressive side laning comp, and they picked all of the right times to split push. They picked all the right times to collapse. They seem to always have the numbers, which it's so difficult once you're behind against a team that knows how to be at the right place at the right time. And they really pushed it. They won that 5v4 team fight, and from there on, it was off to the races. So really well played from HAH, but TVA down, not out. They have bounced back in series in this playoff already, going down early in 2 of their series and bouncing right back. So I would not be surprised if they come back here with a vengeance and really lay it all out on the line. I mean, glad to see that everyone horked up.
Everyone horking up. They're setting draft up right now, and the first thing we notice is there is a side shift here as Team Volatility choosing to take blue side. What do you think they're going to value here in the draft? Do you think these adjustments, that there is a lot of adjustments to be made in the draft? You mentioned the bald goose maybe being on something that deals a little bit more damage. Any other parts of the composition that you would have tinkered with?
I would not be surprised if they're taking this to first pick away the Zac. I think the Zac is such a powerful tool. It's a fantastic flex pick. Both their top laner and their jungler play it. So it gives them a lot of flexibility in draft. It's a fantastic engaged champion. It's one of the best tanks in the game right now. And I think that it put in a lot of work in that last game. A couple of team fights were won solely off the back of how hard it was to kill that Zac. Zac was first picked away in game 1. Right, so it would not surprise me if that's what they're switching over to try and take that away, to first pick away the Zac. That's my prediction. I think that they're realizing that that's probably going to be the most important pick of this draft. Another surprising thing that got through pick ban last game that we did not see was the Asol. A champion that, as I said, both of these teams have piloted to immense amounts of success. So looking to see if one of the teams is going to make that decision. I could see potentially they saw the Ahri get locked in, and that might not be the greatest of matchups. Any champion that wants to stand still to do all of its damage makes it very easy to hit a charm. So that could be the reasoning there, but we'll be very interested to see how they pivot here, as the bans are now coming in pretty rapidly here.
Yeah, they know what they want for game 2.
Yeah, they're locked in, right? I think if you're TVA, right, I have to imagine that your big takeaway from that game is that, like, we can beat these guys, right? We 100% could beat these guys. It was that one team fight where they fell behind 5K and they just could never, no fight after that is on even footing, right?
Even though they were picking really good fights.
Exactly. But just like, when you're a team fight comp and you fall behind that hard, it's very difficult to do anything other than just keep forcing team fights. So, I love the Morgana ban. They are actually going to first pick the Nautilus because the Zac gets banned. Hylard Henchmen sniff out that Zac pick, ban it away. But Team Volatility Avalanche banning that Morgana, which was such a problem from Silver Spade in that game. I mean, Silver Spade was an absolute MVP level Morgana performance, carrying that bot lane. So love that takeaway there. See what else he's got. Also, Morgana fantastic into Nautilus. So a great pick away there. They're gonna let go for the Ahri. Honestly, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Him on that Ahri pick. So a fantastic pick right there. Did a lot of work. They're gonna elect to go with the Thresh. Oh, I love to see this. Thresh indicates to me that they are going to stick with what has been working. We're looking at probably an Aphelios or a Jinx would be my guess from Hylard Henchmen, right? Those are two champions that are made infinitely better by having a Thresh. Gives them like another escape tool. So Team Volatility Avalanche, let's see what they respond with. They lock in the Syndra, a very strong laning pick, a great single target burst champion with a lot of range. So I do like that pick. And they've another pick. The Ball Goose has piloted it already in this playoffs to quite success. So let's see how they round out. They're probably going to want to pick their ADC here. Do they go back for the Xayah? Would not surprise me.
It worked out well. The Xayah was able to be self-sufficient. They were great all through the lane, but the Lee Sin.
Ooh, I love that from IC Magic. When you really think that you can make some magic here, like IC Magic clearly does. Lee Sin is one of those champions you can fall behind infinite numbers of gold, but you hit one good kick and you win that game. So Hylard Henchmen, though, getting a very similar carry setup here from the last game, getting the Jinx and the Ahri, two champions that they were both very comfortable on and outpoured a ton of damage on. So Team Volatility Avalanche showing us another side of them, right? When we were doing pre-game prep on this, I was seeing Team Volatility Avalanche. They've got a weird streak, right? They're the kind of team that they'll whip out a weird counter, right? They'll whip out an aggressive Samira bot lane, right? They'll do something that you're not expecting. Whereas Hylard Henchmen are a bit more stock standard in their picks, right? They're going to pick the champions that they know how to play. They're going to pick the safe standard front to back team fighting or side laning comps, very meta looking comps. So Hylard Henchmen here banning away the Ornn, which honestly I like that because Kreese put on a hell of a performance on that Ornn even in the loss. High Alert Henchmen going to ban away the Kaisa here. So the Zaya is still on the table. Something that Team Volatility Avalanche had a lot of success with. Kind of surprised to see not throwing 2 ADC bans, but I do like to see that they are throwing some respect to Kreese on that Ornn. But there is still last game. But the Malphite gets banned away. Never mind. Malphite and Ornn, the premier top lane tank engaged champions, taken off the table here. So we're gonna have to see what else they got, honestly. Oh, I love this pick. I love this Ivern pick here. When you have it, I
haven't seen it in a hot minute.
Right? It's one of those champions that like it requires you, like as a jungler, playing a supportive enchanter is not something that feels right. But if you're good at this champion, it is so frustrating to deal with, provides so much utility. There it is. There's that Samira. The Samira gets locked in. Samira Nautilus in the bot lane. They are looking to just snowball over this bot lane, looking to make this Jinx a champion that needs some time to scale up. They're looking to put her in the dirt. As on the other side, High Alert Henchmen, there's that ASOL pick, as to be expected. So that means that it is either ASOL or Ahri in the top lane into this Shen. If it is an Ahri, I kind of like Ahri in the top lane, honestly. It wins basically every matchup, every melee matchup, right? No melee champ is going to be able to do anything against Ahri. So I'm a fan. It's Ahri top, I promise, says Bear TV in the chat.
Bear called out earlier. He was like, it's a flex. It's a flex. Wasn't sure what he was talking about. In hindsight, of course, he wasn't talking about the Thresh. He was talking about the Ahri.
Love that.
But yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
That's going to be a really annoying champ for the Shen to deal with. The Shen is probably going to fall behind a significant amount of farm in lane. I played against Ahri top as a melee top laner, and it is a nightmare. It's just because she has so much sustain. Her Q goes through the minion wave, so you can't even walk up. It's absolute nightmare fuel. You can't really stack MR against her because the Q coming back does true damage. So it's a real nightmare. The ASOL in the mid lane is going to scale up aggressively. So Team Volatility Avalanche, very different angle of attack here, going all out in the early game here, putting a lot of eggs into Samira, into Lee Sin, hoping that they can really snowball the early game and make it so that High Alert Henchmen don't get to see the late game where their champions really thrive. And on the other side, High Alert Henchmen, they pick the Ivern, they pick the Thresh, right? They have a pretty low engage comp, but their ability to kite back and keep their carries alive is second to none, right? Thresh to reposition with the shield and with the lantern, and the Flay to keep them off. Ivern, obviously, by late game is just infinite shielding. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. If they go into the late game, even slightly behind, you got to give it to High Alert Henchmen in the late game. But Team Volatility Avalanche, I respect it. They see that, that maybe that the weakness is in the early game, right? They were making a lot of plays in that early game to kind of keep the game very even. Mm-hmm. So I love to see them being like that. That's our in, right? That's what worked. We were when we're running and gunning and playing a high tempo game, then the game works in our favor. Once the game starts to slow down, then that's where that's where High Alert Henchmen really come into their own. That's when they really start to showcase what has got them here to the finals in such a stellar display this season. So the underdogs TVA here trying to all in blitz them and just run them over.
Yeah,
love it.
And they're Mike's okay, never mind. Yeah, I mean they're going for it. I mean, this game 2 is going to tell us a lot. Best of fives, we say it all the time. It's a completely different beast. The mini metas that occur, the fact, and you talked about it before, marathon instead of a sprint. It's exactly what it is. And this is going to be the first break point, the first checkpoint for both of these teams to see if A, you can bring consistency from game to game, and B, if you can make those changes that need to happen to bring yourself some victory. Right now, 1-0 in favor of High Alert Henchmen. TVA, I mean, listen, you always want to win, but to even up the series right now would be big. It would mean every game from this point on is a contest. They want to show to themselves that they can get this win, that High Alert can be defeated. And I think it is going to come down to this early game. It's gonna early game, last game. It's when we saw so much action and when the game was most even, and then High Alert just started to pull away. But a lot of opportunities.
H4 Defender here, subscribing with the Prime, just became the newest investor in the low budget LCS. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. What an absolute Chad. But no, I totally agree. I think if TVA is able to pull out a win here, right, the implications for this series, it means so much because now they have to respect this early game type of comp for TVA, right? Such a different look from what we've seen in the last game. So, if they pull out the win here, now do you have to reprioritize your bans? Can you pick this late game scaling comp with Asol, Jinx, Ivern, or do you need to then adapt and start to pick more early game champs as well, right? So I think this would be a huge shift in momentum for TVA to kind of put the fear in HAH, right? Because, even gods can bleed. And so if HAH were to lose a game, it would only be their 4th game loss of the entire season, which is an absolutely insane run. So we don't know how well they actually can bounce back. Yes, in the semifinal matchup against ITALY, they did fall behind 1-0, but then were able to bounce back in 2-1. Now, interesting to note here, ITALY, they were the first seed coming out of Group D in commercial. Group D is where TV Avalanche came from. Group D was the 3 seed in there. So they've made an absolute heroic run, peaking at just the right time here to make it to the finals. But High Alert Henchmen did take down the #1 team from their group. So again, bit of a David versus Goliath story we got working here. But remember, all it takes is a single stone in a sling to take down a giant.
I'm interested in this mid lane matchup here. Both mid laners on different champs and different play styles as well. And I gotta say, I like that Aurelion Sol still lends itself to the roaming. Gives them all that map pressure, all that possibility. And actually, Shen was talked about in the chat. I forget who said it. I really think that somebody in chat was like, "Oh, I think Shen would have worked well."
Well, I think so. I remember the chat saying that it was because Shen is a great counter pick into TF because it can follow the roams and the W negates the W of TF, right? It makes it so the auto tech doesn't hit. Shen is a fantastic tank to neutralize all the things that Twisted Fate brings. So, but even in this situation here, right? Yes, you're not picking Shen for the laning phase here. In this case, some lanes you do, right? Shen is actually a very powerful laner and has a lot of couple matchups that it can really abuse and become this kind of unkillable tank carry. But Indari is not one of them. So you're picking this to try and snowball this bot lane, right? Because Samira at a certain point in the game is worth less than a hot fart in the wind, right? It is Samira really is looking to spike early and get an early, probably lethality item would be my guess, probably a collector, something along those lines, and just kind of abuse how powerful it is in that early game, especially with the setup of a Nautilus. So with the Nautilus and the Shen looking in this bot lane, I think that it's all eggs in on the Samira, which I love because Igabajif was honestly, I thought the MVP of TVA in the first game. So I think playing around your strong suit is 100% the right play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And here we go into game 2 of the commercial finals. High Alert up 1-0 right now. And we see TVA grouped together. They've got the hook. The question is, I think they've been spotted out right away by Panther. CC gonna land on the Nautilus, putting the kibosh on any hopes of some sort of crazy invade right here. But I like the attempt. I like the idea.
I do too. You know, game one, obviously, everyone's kind of feeling each other out, probing to see what the series is going to look like. So everyone does the 5 point. But game two, what do you have to lose, right? Go all in on an invade, see what you can find. Even if you burn a summoner, right, that's just a huge advantage for whatever lane or jungle matchup that you can do it for. So you love to see it. Doesn't amount to anything, but, you know, it was, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. As now everyone kind of roams back into where they're going to go. Ahri is going to get, it looks like, a deep ward here. Yes, it will. So they will know what side of the jungle Lee Sin will be starting on.
That's
which is
big.
It's going to be very big for a matchup like Ahri, where pre-6 especially, you are a little vulnerable to ganks, right? A taunt flash from Kreese can set up a kill of this Ahri. But if you know where the jungler is, it's very easy to just abuse the lane matchup with impunity, right? So really like that. On the other side, though, it's really tough to track an Ivern through the jungle. Just because the way it clears camps is so different, right? So, you know, the fact that it's looking to set up all of its camps on one side, run to the other side, set those camps up, smite them, and then run back to the camps it set up initially, right? Like, look what has already happened. Sets up 2 camps on the bot side, runs up to the top side to go clear. So it's very difficult to tell what side of the jungle an Ivern is on, and they did not get an early ward down. So the lanes are kind of all guessing as to where this Ivern is starting. Ivern now, again, has already crossed over jungle sides twice, right? So going to be very interesting to see where the Ivern is going to move down to. My guess would be the Ivern is going to look to move down to this bot lane, because that is going to be the hotbed of activity in this game.
Look at this.
Big
nice
taunt
in. Kreese getting some good damage down, but honestly, pretty even trade across the board. Also, real quick, thank you so much, Lemonade and Ice from Fire. But here we go. This gank goes out to you. Him. Absolute stud. Flashes away. He's gonna live, but that's how these early ganks gonna work out. You burn that flash. Hook does not connect. Icy Magic should be happy with that, but now you've got to repeat the gank. The flash is gone. You've got to do something with that.
Yeah, you know, we didn't really talk about it much, but Syndra Lee Sin, I mean, even in pro play, is a highly picked. Oh, big taunt here now as Icy Magic comes to the top lane.
Coming up, looking for that boy Truth, who's trying to find a way past through the minions. That's going to be the Q, connected with both people, but first blood goes to the Lee Sin. They are not afflicted with Lee Syndrome. They are indeed the patient kind of Lee Sin. That was perfect.
Beautifully, beautifully played, honestly. Really, really nice there. W's in, gets into melee range, waits for that boy Truth to flash, walks up, hits the point blank Q, finishes him off. Really love to see it. Taking advantage of the fact that that boy Truth was playing a little too aggressively there in the lane. Does TP back in and is able to force Kreese to back here. And, you know, and on the other side here, you know, yes, gets the flash mid lane, gets top lane. Ivern, though, has just been full clearing now, right? So he is a level up.
16 farm. That's
right. Is a level up as well. So is going to be able to back probably just straight up for tier 2 boots, which is a great back for the Ivern. And is now circling around on this bot lane.
Here we go. The CC connects. Full metal flashing away. Igabajif dodging hooks.
Woo.
Very nice,
really well
fancy feat right there. Holds on to their flash, all their sums.
Yep, just the flash from Full Metal. Igabajif, though, holds on to it, which is, I mean, that's the most important flash, obviously. The ADC in the bot lane. So, really well done here. Icy Magic, though, done a really good job of exerting pressure, right? And a flashless ASOL into a Syndra Lee Sin is very terrifying, right? It's so easy to set up for that Lee Sin to come in. The Scout of the Week is such an easy ability to hit, especially on ASOL, who
nice
has to
charm
stand
right
still.
Here from Truth. Oh, and a little bit of trading here in the mid lane as well. No, totally agree. I mean, Lee Sin, though, has to continue to make things happen. They got that great gank off. There's a lot of things that have been set up in the map. Let's see if they can pull off one of them right here. Icy Magic coming in as well. A lot of CC coming from Full Metal, but they don't buy enough time for the Lee Sin to get close enough. Health bar is not low enough either. There's no ward in that river bush, though. There's the possibility to rinse and repeat if they want.
100%. It was just really well played there from Silver Spade. Nails the flay to interrupt Full Metal so he can't get into auto attack range, and then steps away and gets that lantern down on its Nox to pull him out. They don't burn a single sum for that. And Full Metal drops the ignite down in that exchange. So actually a fantastic play there for the Jinx Thresh, and we're seeing the power now.
In mid, absolutely.
Here we go.
Here we go. Him. There's the CC. There's the scatter of the week. The Q connects the second one as well, but there's still more CC as Panther's shown up and is actually going to save him's life, cutting that vision, helping them get to safety. Oh.
Crucial there. Panther gets the shield just in time so that the Bald Goose R's into the shield. The Bald Goose flashes forward for that attempted kill. It looked really good to start, right?
Him is in this bush. I don't think the Bald Goose knows that. Him thinking about it. Will they land a full combo? The camera doesn't care. All right, sorry that our cameraman, very temperamental.
No, the Bald Goose, I guess, did not have E up to interrupt him. But a really good scout of the week to start that. Him starts channeling his E to get away, but the Bald Goose pulls him right out of it. Without the flash there, looks like he's going to go down. But yes, Panther is right there in time. As I said, on the first back, able to grab that tier 2 boots. So he is able to zip around the map really effectively and gets down that shield just in time, keeps him topped up and alive. So love to see it.
Totally. Lee Sin is down in farm, but actually just up in gold a little bit there, about 200. The first blood gold certainly paying off. Ooh, see him up here by the Voidlings. I feel like we're gonna get a little kerfuffle in that area.
Yeah, I would love. I hope we get to see it. I see Magic definitely sizing up that boy Truth right now. But I think he's gonna start these grubs up. Ivern has elected to go down to the bot side, so it looks like they're gonna set up on this dragon. Interesting to see that the gold lead is slightly in the favor of TVA. But it's not enough at this point, right? I think if you're on the side of TVA, the longer this game goes, the antsier you're getting to make something happen. Because the scaling is so aggressively in the side of HAH. And whoa, Kial just became a majority shareholder. Subscribe with Prime. That's 10 months in a row. That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Kial seems like the kind of person who can really commit to something. 10 months, that's impressive. Put that on a resume.
Put that on a resume. That's commitment. You love to see it, right? In our modern society, where so much is about moving and shaking and grooving, to see someone who can commit to something for 10 whole months.
So true.
So true. Love to see it.
Oh, nice hook landing right here, but Panther has come down. They're gonna call Daisy in as well. So Ignite being dropped onto Full Metal too. Don't know that they're fully committing to this, but they're just going to go back to clearing that way. But Panther still wants it. That's going to connect with the Samira right there, as Igabajiv's going to get the hook landing on them as well. It's Nox walking forward, and Samira going to have to dive in, ulting too. Lots of low health bars. They actually get it. They get the kills right there. Massive across the map. High alert Henchmen falling left and right as 2 kills go to the Samira. Syndra gets 1 as well, and Shen 2. Massive. But that boy Truth right around the corner, looking to maybe pick up a double right here. The W is going to connect. He's going to dash in. He's got some more charges of that ultimate. May have gone too far. That boy Truth lands another, but oh my god, Igabajif with 3 kills out of that play. An avalanche of success for Team Volatility.
So patient from Igabajif. Waits until all of the CC gets used on the side of HAH, picks his moment perfectly when he's fully stacked his passive, dashes in, hits the ult, flashes forward, gets all 3 of them, perfectly timed to crease, comes in with the Shen R. They really baited them in, right? They waited for Panther, for its Nox, and for Silver Spade to think, oh, we got him. And the moment that they over-engaged, that they had no way out, the Shen ult comes in, Samira flashes on top of them, and they wipe the board. And then that boy Truth thinks he can get a little cheeky and tries to pick up on the low health Full Metal and Igabajif, but is not enough, as Igabajif now completed first item already. So massive. And we even talk about simultaneously in the mid lane, the Bald Goose gets the kill onto him with a little help from IC Magic. Just really well done to time it perfectly to get in there.
Coming around, there's the taunt. Lee Sin's gonna come in. Can that Void Truth escape? He's got some allies in the area, but a turret shot will definitely do the trick. Ari goes down. We're seeing the success of this Lee Sin pick.
We are 100%. IC Magic is really feeling himself right now on this Lee Sin pick. Just everywhere he needs to be, he's there. And again, we're seeing this Shen pick pay big dividends, right? That boy Truth picks himself a very strong lane matchup with the Ari, but is just not able to get it done here. Kreese setting up these ganks for IC Magic. And obviously, the big time ultimate plays from the Shen are just, it's just something that the Ari just cannot match.
Well, listen, you said it, Red-Faced Beast said it. They're still scaling. That's the story of this game. The team that needs to crush early is crushing early. They have to follow through, though. If they don't, oh, speaking of, here's a great hook here from Full Metal, but just the lantern. You just take the lantern. Remember when we all didn't know how to click on the lantern? Full Metal gonna take a little bit of damage in that trade. But the scaling, it's still there, right? They just need to weather this storm. And the question is, oh, but look at the damage coming out of this. Aesol, the Bald Goose, going so low, and him is him. They take it. Just a great 1v1.
We're seeing the power of that Aurelion Soul pick. It's only going to ramp up as the game goes on. Ooh, a really good play there from Silver Spade.
Trouble right here. Nox, though, hold on a second. A slow came through in the rocket. It's the return, the self alley-oop, as Nox picks up a double right there. So big.
Yeah, we saw the scaling's already starting to show up, I guess. Just a little overzealous there from the bot lane of TVA. They're kind of feeling the pressure that they have this gold lead, right? So they feel as though they really need to make something happen here, right? And whether or not they needed to, they did, and they forced it a little bit under turret. Unfortunately, I really think in this lane with TVA, I think that if they're the ones engaging first, they're probably not going to be able to do anything because this Thresh pick is really doing a great job of neutralizing.
Oh, I see Magic with the insect. Massive, as that's going to be Bald Goose picking up the alley-oop right there. Lee Sin. Oh, bringing in the Shen as well. There it is. Another Q lands him in a little bit of trouble, but a nice ward hop, but he doesn't have the damage or the cooldowns to get the kill onto him. They're just going to walk out in a nice, tight little group here. Dragon is up.
Beautiful kick. Absolutely beautiful kick from IC Magic. Gets the ward hop right behind him, kicks him into the team. Has the Shen on top of him too. I think they probably, if they're expending the Shen out there, they probably would have liked to get another kill on that. But I guess they're going to be happy with what they got. The Lee Sin is electing for this lethality build, right? So is going to, in this early game, just be able to have the capability of one-tapping pretty much anyone that he encounters, except maybe this Aurelion Soul, because Aurelion Soul, one of those champions that just does not feel like it should be as tanky as it is, because it builds items that have health. It has that E to get away. It's really difficult sometimes to pin down the Aurelion Soul, and so
first tower and all plates going to that Samira too.
100%.
Subtle but big thing.
Oh, yeah, it's massive, honestly. I mean, that's a 4K gold lead, basically, and most of it is on this Samira, right? Is in the pockets of Igabajif, someone who we saw really pop off in game 1. So I think, the goal is right where they want it. The question that we're going to be asking ourselves this whole time is it enough, right? Is it enough to outweigh as a little bit of skirmish breaks out?
We're going to see a little bit of that right now. A huge insect right there from IC Magic. A great scatter of the week, connecting with a lot of people as Igabajif getting bound to the back line. That's going to be him who will fall in the end. A very nice hook from Full Metal pulling back line into front as Nox is now going to get connected with that Q from the Lee Sin, and 3 members cut down. Picture perfect plays from TVA.
Wow. That is crazy. What a great kick to start that off from IC Magic. Just putting on an absolute clinic on this Lee Sin. Sets up Igabajif to dive the backline with impunity. And they're going to get the dragon as well off the back of that. A huge play, putting them up a little under 6K gold. Love to see it. Love to see it, because that is, again, you know, we keep harping on it, but this is what they have to be doing with this comp in order to keep the good times rolling.
Now, what do you think about this soul?
I think this soul is fantastic for the side of TVA. If they can get this soul, that's gonna be huge, because it allows the fact that this Lee Sin is going a more glass cannon type build. I think, you know, it allows that with less of a drawback, right? With the soul, with the mountain soul. But really want to shout out Kreese here. Knows his role in this game, right? First item finishes the redemption. So he is probably going to end up going for a Knight's Vow third. He's looking probably to just go full support tank, just to really ensure that his team can carry, right? Because you know, if he knows that his role is not to be, he's not the damage, right? In some Chen cases, right, where your team's a little lower damage, or you have a matchup you can abuse, you can rush that early Heart Steal, and you can go Titanic Hydra, and you can end up being an absolute menace, but not in this game. Not into the comp that HAH has kind of put together here. So now, with this gold lead here, they move their bot lane to the mid lane, looking to pressure this down and rotate potentially to this Herald here to really crack the game wide open.
Absolutely. Sir Babied, thank you so much for being the newest investor in the low budget LCS. We appreciate the follow. You've got a
Sir Baby D.
Sir Baby D. I guess it is Sir Baby D, isn't it? Absolutely.
I don't know.
I can't believe you got knighted. That I wasn't sure if that was going to go through, but listen, you earned it, and we're happy for you.
Very well earned.
I see magic there. Okay, here we go. That's going to be a Nautilus ult connecting. But look at that. Magic just so good. You talked about people knowing their roles. Lands the Q, doesn't go in, even though his team is sort of nearby. They're not close enough. And knowing the range of engagement of your composition is a key part of playing this game.
100%. I think they'll be more than happy to just kind of push them off here. They had grouped as 4 to try and push down this mid wave. But again, you know, this Lee Sin, even though you're super far ahead right now, going into an Ivern, going into a Thresh, going into an Ahri, right? It's just very difficult. So
speaking of that Ahri, Kreese taunting into them. We talked about them not being responsible for damage, but they've got some at the very least.
Oh, for sure. Shen still does a good amount of damage here. And in particular, you know, this Ahri has been set behind quite a lot. So is not outputting nearly as much damage as we're used to seeing, for example, in game 1. You know, and as we're getting into the later stages of this game, it is the cracks in HAH's comp are starting to show. We did, you know, tried to call out in pick ban. They do not have a ton of engage tools, right? They do not have a ton of ways to kind of start fights on their own terms. And additionally, their front line is a little lacking. With the Thresh, and an Ivern is not really a frontline champion, right? You don't want the Ivern right up front. So with no frontline to speak of, and with the lacking of engage tools, if they fall behind, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually start good fights.
Right.
And as someone you don't know calls out in the chat, Redemption Rush Shen goes hard. Yeah, it really does. I'm kind of in love with it, if we're being honest. Even if his first redemption throw was offensively to try and do damage to the Ahri. But I love it. I love that. I love a man who knows his role. It's great to see. Great to see. And now, you know, they're still up around 5K gold, right? And they're, you know, looking to try and crack some of these outer turrets here. There's a lot of standing gold on the map right now. So hoping to see, you know, them find
him going for it. They drop the ult, but get stunned right away. Fast fingers on the bald goose here. They got 1v1. They got Soul out earlier in the game. They're determined not to have that happen again. Nice Q lands, but I think this is all happening so that TVA can kind of zone High Alert out of the dragon that's spawning in 10 seconds. High Alert knows this. They're grouping up. You made a great point. They don't have a lot of ways to like pull the go button to start those fights, and that's why showing up and contesting these objectives might be one of the only ways that they can get them to sort of stand still for a minute and all be in one spot. A little bit of a hammer and anvil tactic. We will see Thresh walking up here, going to be dropping ult. Full Metal is going to be the target of their ire, but a great Nautilus ult onto that point. Truth, as Samir is going to dive deep in there. Igabajif doing a lot, dropping that ult right there. That's Thresh falling. The tank is now gone. You have got to back up. Fight lines do not exist without tanks, and you are going to go and get that free dragon is what I imagine.
And they get topped off there with the redemption from the Shen. Unfortunately, Aurelion Sol did not have TP up, so was not able to join that fight. ASOL is a huge amount of their DPS right now, with the Ahri so far behind, with the Jinx still trying to reach her second item. So without the ASOL there, not really able to kind of take advantage of the bit of a misposition from Full Metal, but ultimately, you know, it all amounts to nothing in the end as they get a single kill on the Silver Spade and then move over to this Drake. Still up a respectable 5K, but you know,
Him's going forward for this. They really want it. They're dropping the ult. That's a lot of damage, and the Bald Goose does get taken out as Him secures that solo kill.
That's a tough one to see. You know, if the Bald Goose can't side lane against him moving forward, that's going to be a huge power point that they can play around on the side of HAH. Because again, this ASOL's not getting any weaker. If anything, this ASOL is
that's
still
going to be
up.
Zap landing. The hook lands as well. Igabajif is going to get engaged on, but he's going to flash forward, try and take at least one of them out with him as well, and he does absolutely. And he is not done yet as Igabajif gets a double kill. Oh, after being hooked and flayed and ulted on, it just didn't matter.
No, it did not. That was a really well played fight there from Igabajif. You know, Igabajif rushing the tabbies, a really smart move here because he's fighting almost exclusively into the Jinx. So this Jinx just not able to break him through. Once Igabajif hits that ult, not a whole lot Nox can do except tank it right to the face and die. So love to see it. Really well played there from Igabajif. And now that Samira is so ahead. And again, this would be a huge win for TVA. I think if you go into a game 3 situation with TVA taking this, I don't think you let him get the Samira again.
No way at all. Also, when it comes to the Syndra Aurelion Sol matchup, I think it comes down to the Scout of the Week. The reason Him was able to pull off that solo queue there was Scout of the Week got used, the full combo got thrown onto ASOL, he lived. And so he was like, okay, I'm gonna pull the trigger. There's enough lane for me to chase you down. So I think it all comes down to that ability. He can lane against him as long as he holds on. I think.
I was just saying, I think the problem that we're starting to see here is that you know, you can't interrupt ASOL ult, right?
Right.
So you know, even if you scatter the weak, you drop that ult down, you're gonna get the slow, you're gonna get the knock up, and so it's able to just like E and Q at him. So I think it's just a tough setup for the Bald Goose, right? It's fine in a short lane, but as we get into these side lane matchups, right, ASOL is almost impossible to run away from in an extended side lane because you just E at you. You know what I mean? So in the isolated 1v1 in the mid lane, it's a great matchup for the Bald Goose. But as we start to get later and these turrets start to go down, the side lane starts to really open up. I think it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. But for the side of Bald Goose, he has a Shen, he has a Lee Sin. So I think it's going to be very important for them to set up properly in the side lane so that they can get
Scout of the Week connecting onto
Jinx
right here. Nox just gets eliminated right away. This could be Baron for TVA. A hook landing onto Full Metal. They've got a lot of damage over. It's going to be a trade. Not necessarily in the conventional sense. And now down here we've got Shen into the Ahri crease trying to go for the solo kill as a fight pops off up in the top side of the map. Hook lands onto Igabajif and Ignite down on them as well. They're going to flash over. ASOL gets the kill onto crease. Just trying to not fight the Samira for as long as they can, but Samira's found their way to the Ivern. Redemption coming down from the Shen. Him has a turret to fall back on. This turret is not fallen yet. There's still a lot of space and a great flash taunt onto ASOL, but will it be enough? They have to follow the turret shots coming down. Igabajif taking some right now as well. Gonna dash to a target, but they do get them in the end. and 4 kills turn over to High Alert Henchmen, as Shen also unable to kill the Ahri in the 1v1, and now it's not TVA getting this Baron, it's High Alert Henchmen.
Wow, him is him. That was a really big play from him. And big shout out, Lil Dear Lilia calling out in the chat. The big time plays from this Thresh.
Full Metal's gonna try and interrupt this. They've got the ult. Hold on a second. Nox looking quite low. A shield does come through for them, but Full Metal's not gonna stop until they're totally off. Icy Magic connects with the Q. Another hook as well. This fight is far from done. The flash forward, the kick, they get it. Silver Spade connects with a hook right there. Might actually get a kill themselves. No, they will go down in the Bald Goose, flanking even further. Flank on flank on flank, but him has found their way to the Syndra, and the damage is insane. We've talked about this. A-Soul just holding up from the mid lane here. The whole hopes of High Alert Henchmen. Wow, that was a long play.
Very long play. But taking stock here, the Shen ults in what looked like was going to be a fantastic fight for the side of TVA. They overstep a little bit, right? Try and dive onto the turret with no minion wave. A-Soul able to kite away and put out just an insane amount of damage. And then that Jinx ult comes on through, pops 2 of them. And that boy Truth doesn't have to TP in, stays bot after the Shen Rs, gets the turret as well. So a huge gold swing now for the side of HAH, now down to a 3k gold lead. And most importantly, almost all those kills went over to him, who is now so accelerated. And we saw just the strength of it, right? Even when they tried to start up that Baron at the beginning, right? Him just over the wall is able to tag Full Metal and just drain him, just drain tank him out. It's very difficult to play around that Aurelion Soul W for these champions like Samira.
Indeed. Oh, he's so slippery.
He's so slippery, man. It's so difficult to punish him. He still has his ult up too after that fight. So, I mean, it's really going to be tough. And I think that if I'm in the voice calls with them right now, and if I'm in this game, I'm calling that like we have to dogpile onto this A-Soul. If we don't take out this A-Soul, we don't win the fight. Right. Because in an extended fight, this A-Soul is just outpouring just ludicrous amounts of damage. And yes, Igabajif very far ahead, but Samira, a very short range ADC ultimately. And once they're in, if their ult gets interrupted or if they get kited out, then they're sitting duck. But looking ahead to the next fight, Igabajif, both sums are up, right? And that's critical for the success of a team fight for TVA. Still, game is in their court. Game is still in their favor. They have 3 dragons already.
Igabajif is kind of alone. For 1 second, they're alone in this mid lane, and there are numbers on the side of High Alert. But they're not going to pull the trigger on that, understandably so, in part because of go buttons.
100%. I think they, as you just called it out, they don't have the go buttons to kind of make something happen here, short of a Thresh hook.
Look at that boy Truth on the back here, looking for something, holding on to the charm. Does get that damage down.
They do get the flash out of Full Metal there. Force the flash over the wall to stop, to not get pincered by the Ivern on the opposite side. So they do get a cooldown for nothing, which is, again, it's a game of small advantages and victories, and so they'll be happy to take that.
Yes, indeed. Full Metal doing some scouting up here. Igabajif's gonna get rooted. Nox tosses down 2 rockets, a TP from behind. Icy Magic is going to spot it out. That boy Truth's going to ult over the wall. Looks like they're going to go onto Full Metal as the target. Him is going to go golden, but look at that A-Soul ult coming through. Jinx Rocket connects. Somebody's excited, but A-Soul is down. Can they finish off the rest of the fight without him as Igabajif dives in right there. Still down to half health, down to a third, down to, there it is! They get the kill, and they've done a triple kill for Jinx. A-Soul may have been the carry in the beginning, but Nox is certainly getting close. A flash forward, massive from Truth there, but it does not connect as Bald flashes in return as well. But high alert henchmen, hand over hand, fist over fist, are climbing this mountain together.
Really, really well played there from him. Yes, he goes down, but he baits everyone in to engage on him, drops the ult, and hits the Zhonyas. So they all pile in. They don't kill him. The ult comes down and just blows up the whole enemy team. Then the Jinx, just the easiest job in the world. Yes, Itsnox plays it very beautifully, but boy, howdy, would I love to be in that situation. Sitting over the wall and just raining hell down on below half-health targets because him just blew them all up, and they blew all their cooldowns to try and get him. So Igabajif still both sums up, but unable to get anything done in that fight. It's a very tough setup for them to win a 5v5 team fight in this, right? We were seeing them have a lot of success when they could take those fights with numbers, we get picks, get 2v2s, 3v3s, right? Little skirmishes. But when's a all-out 5v5, they have just absolutely so many ways to disengage, to keep people alive on the side of HAH. So, Hook goes a little bit wide there, but now both teams here setting up around this strike.
In. Using his teleport right there. Shen, of course, is Shen. Look at that, onto the Jinx right there. Hook does not connect. That's going to be Asol ult coming down. Him showed up just in time. Jinx Rocket goes down too. A fight on many fronts. His full metal is going to get dropped. That boy Truth going to get taken out by Icy Magic right there. Igabajif going low, but also going onto the Asol. They will get the kill. They do it. They take out one of the main damage dealers, and the Jinx is gone too. They actually found an angle. TVA getting some success here. The Bald Goose gets the kill as well. 4-4-1, a perfectly good trade for TVA in their eyes as they turn to take this dragon and soul to boot.
They find the angle, they take the blast cone over, and they just put so much pressure onto Itsnox. Immediately, Itsnox and him forced to disengage from the fight, leaving behind Panther, that boy Truth, and Silver Spade to kind of pick up the pieces of a broken home. Him, eating away, a desperate gambit to try and 1v1 Igabajif, but Igabajif lives with just a sliver of health, thanks in part due to the shield bow, and we see now is building a Spectre's Cowl, so is probably looking to build, either probably a Spirit Visage, which will just make it so hard for this Asol to kind of burst them down, as now they move on over and start up this Baron.
Yes, they do. Silver Spade in the bush right here. A rocket goes forward, but yes, it was fated. They will get both major objectives off of that massive, massive win right there. I gotta say, whoever wrote the script for this game did a great job. It's had it all, the back and forth. Speaking of him, with the counter punches, he gets Bald Goose one more time in the top lane. And boy, howdy. Chekhov's Asol, huh? He's gonna come back in the third act.
Really, I knew he was going to get that kill, but just the manner in which he did it, that R coming down, how much damage it did. Ice from Fire in the chat, WTF, my exact reaction. That Asol ult did so much more damage than I was prepared for. But, up 4K gold with the soul for TVA. I misspoke earlier. It was a bit of a visual bug where it said it was going to be a Mountain Soul. It is, in fact, a Chemtech Soul, which little less powerful, but still really good for, in particular, the Lee Sin and the Samira. Samira, a champion that really thrives on those thin margin types of fights. So her having all that additional survivability when below 50% health and additional damage is going to be huge, because she has the shield bow, she has the Spirit Visage. So she is now building herself to really to survive the initial burst in a fight and able to clean up. That's kind of what she's looking to do in these team fights moving forward.
Oh, look at the mini map right here. Everybody converging onto him. Igabajif thinks they may have found an angle as they're going to go in. That's the Asol ult, as well as shield coming through, the redemption as well. Bit of a disengage. Will we see the re-engage right here as Asol is in prime position to do quite a bit of damage? Full metal flashing away, going quite low, and they go down as Ivern's the one who gets that kill. Nox now quite excited as the Bald Goose is the next to fall. Freeze in the back here has to turn to try and maybe sacrifice himself to save the team, but that boy Truth has found his way to the back line, and Igabajif, against all odds, actually lives against that. Holy shield. also dying to keep Igabajif alive, but Nox knows what's up, and Igabajif does too, knows they have to turn towards him, but they can't. The rockets take them down in the end, and Magic, the last to fall. But holy shit, another swing in the other direction this time. Just back and forth, incredible.
Absolutely. That was a wild fight. They just dogpile onto Asol, thinking that they can burst him down, but the Asol survives the engage and gets just out of range enough, drops down that W of his, and that W is the ability that is winning these team fights for HAH. It just sets up such a zone of control that they really just have no means of getting past. Short-range team comp from the side of TVA means that W, as it sits there and just slows everyone in the field, it just makes it so difficult to disengage when a fight goes awry. And so they're able to just, weather the storm and punch back with a vengeance. Really, really well played. Him is so scary right now.
Yes.
Just so scary. Four completed items. Gonna back here. Probably going for maybe a Rabadon's just to really put the nail in the coffin. But no, is going for what appears to be the shield item, the Banshee's Veil. It appears to be going for a Banshee's Veil here, picking up the Verdant Barrier, which makes a ton of sense, right? It lowers the chance that you get hit by a Rogue, not Q, that you get hit by a Rogue Scatter the Weak, right? So really like that kind of last item here. As now, the gold lead is under 1K. Under 1K.
Yes. The gold lead has been a lot of things, but the fact that it's under 1K now, I mean, the journey that we've had to go on to get here. And Spooky, we talked about the scaling team. We talked about the scaling comp. What happens when High Alert gets all these items, and they've earned it. Him pulling the trigger here in the mid lane. Igabajif is going to be the target, and I don't know. There's so many shielding. Hold on. If Igabajif can live this, that might be the game, but so much damage coming through as Nox, and the worst timing for that visual bug. I'm sure what's happening is very cool. We can all hear it. Oh, god damn it. 1 second. Hold on. We're going back.
It's a triple kill for
we're
him.
going back we're going back 15 seconds. We gotta see what the hell just happened right here. Okay, him does pull the trigger. Massive shields come in onto the Samira. Knocks into perfect place to be getting these rockets off. That's going to be him taking down Kreese. Full metal on the run now. Igabajif trying to stay in that redemption. The dive into the back line from the Lee Sin gets cut short. A double kill. We know what this turns into. Yes, indeed. The triple kill. There it is. Massive. And him actually going to go even further forward. A little too far forward, him. As Asol going to get stuffed in that moment. But god damn, what a... I mean, this is what we talked about. The kills are almost even now. Okay, making sure that the speed is the same. Is this the end of the game?
I mean, they have the potential to push here. The Jinx is going to get excited here. They have a wave. They lost the wave.
Yeah, they lost the wave.
The Syndra was able to clear up the wave. So, whew, but what a fight there. Again, we're just seeing.
Wow, hold on.
A
little bit of damage here on Igabajif. Okay. All right.
We're starting to see the scaling really come through. That fourth item, LDR, from its Nox means he is just ripping through the Shen and the Nautilus. In particular, the Shen...
They're just going onto it. They're just going to start it right now. Kreese is on the other side.
Him is up in 5 seconds with
Kreese
R.
comes around. The Bald Goose over the wall. Kreese doing everything he can to tank. Teleport coming in here as Asol is on their way. Kreese going solo, but now him has arrived. The great final boss, the Dragon, and Igabajif is gone. That's so much gold gone from the ranks of TVA. And the ult comes through. That's the double kill. That's going to be... Oh! Stolen! Elder Dragon gets stolen by Team Volatility Avalanche. But is it a little bit too late? That's the question. Whoa! Lee Sin goes in. Can they get those kills? No, they cannot. But it looked like it for 1 second there. Wait a second. It's just Shen with Elder. This game has had absolutely everything. And it's going to come down to this final defense right here. Can the Shen stop the ever-flowing river that is High Alert Henchmen? It's just Nexus Towers. I don't know if they can. They get rooted. There's the hook. They're going to do all the damage they can. They're gonna get the kill onto Asol, but there's still 3 members left as they cut down Shen. High Alert have done it. They've come back and won game 2.
Woo, what a comeback win there from HAH. It was looking very dicey in the early game, but holy cow. Big time carry performance there from him. Weathers the storm, comes into the mid and late game, and just puts on an absolute clinic. Have to call out, they're saying it in the chat. It's him, the guy show, 100%. Red Face Beast, this Asol just quietly playing every role in the team, engage, carry, frontline, mid diffo. I mean, he is doing it all. He is. I mean, look at those damage numbers. That is just ludicrous.
Yeah.
Woo.
Had to show the charts for posterity's sake.
What a banger. What a banger.
What an absolute banger. Yeah. Just such a nutty game that had everything. Literally had multiple barons, multiple dragons. We had Soul. Both teams were, getting dragons of their own. Nothing was a sure thing at any point. Literally up until that Nexus exploded. Like, I was only confident High Alert was going to win 3 seconds, maybe 2 seconds before that happened. I mean, Lee Sin almost had what would have been the most insane highlight.
Heroics. I mean, it's one of those series where, yes, it is right now a 2-0 for HAH. It is, at its core, it is game point, but boy, howdy, does that game score not show how close this series has been.
No.
Right? I think that game was one of the closest games we've seen in quite a while. I mean, it was so back and forth. The game was in both teams' hands at different points. Both teams had absolute standout stud moments that have to be acknowledged. And honestly, yes, HAH take the win, but draft adaptation now for game 3. Do you let him get that Samira? Ice from Fire in the chat calls out they need to get rid of Samira, though. Maybe throw a ban at least in. I mean, 100%. They got so far ahead in this early game because of how absolutely cracked they played on those champions.
Yes.
It was an absolute clinic from both of them.
It was magic. It was just magic.
It was magic. I believe in magic.
I do now.
Yeah. So yeah, love to see it. And honestly, the pick that I called out at the very beginning that I thought would be a bit more high priority for both teams here, that Asol getting picked up in that last pick. We see how strong it is.
Dude.
It is one of the strongest picks that you can pick, especially if the game is going to go late.
That's getting banned, I think, for sure.
It's either going to be, if it's not banned, it's going to get, I think it's going to be picked much earlier, I think, in the draft, right? I think, the teams have shown that they have champ pools big enough that they could probably find a counter, but it's one of those things, it's like, it's so hard to counter the champion because how far you have to set them behind to make them not impactful, right? So, interesting to see if the Bald Goose, him has gotten the best of him in the last 2 games, but let's see if the Bald Goose can bounce back and maybe take away that pick, maybe ban it away and force him onto something else, a even better matchup, right? They're over now onto the opposite side. They've switched sides again. So now they're going to have the counter pick here. In the last draft, right, the adaptation got made that they took away the Zac pick, which was first picked in game 1. They switched sides, and High Alert Henchmen were like, no, we get to play Zac, you don't get to play Zac. Banned it away. So let's see now, game 3. Now that there are so many picks now that these teams have to keep in mind, right? You got the Asol, you've got the Zac, you've got the Jinx, which has been a very, very strong pick for It's Nox as you get it a 3rd time. And for Igabajik, you have the Samira, you have the Zaya, who he absolutely popped off with in game 1, and who could forget Silver Spades Morgana, right? And the absolute terror of game 1, heat-seeking Qs. Kreese on that Ornn pick in game 1, right? Something that they had to throw a respect ban for. So a lot of picks emerging here that I think these teams are going to have to figure out, like, all right, we're going to have to give up something here. What are we looking to give up? So They switch sides here. High-alert Henchmen probably going to see if Team Volatility Avalanche are going to ban away that Zach. And if they don't, would not surprise me if they once again repeat what they did in game 1 and pick it away first pick. Because again, that Zach pick, fantastic flex in the top lane, in the jungle, just an absolute wonderful pick here. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, these players are warmed up. They're feeling fancy fresh. They're really bringing us
fancy fresh.
Fancy fresh.
Fancy fresh. They are feeling fancy fresh.
They're bringing us.
They've got their bow ties. They've all got their bolos.
Oh,
they're feeling
this is
fancy.
a black tie affair for sure.
100%.
Minimum. Blazers all over the place. Yeah, the players are warmed up and they're playing at a very high level right here and with great coordination. I mean, God. Now, you know, let's talk about what this is, right? As we said, 5-game series. That's a long road. That was a hard game to lose, but
that was a very hard game to lose.
The takeaway you hope is how close it was. How close it was, because Avalanche really dominated for a lot of that game.
For sure. I think honestly, if they could pivot to have maybe one more scaling pick, the pivot here from High-alert Henchmen, I have to call it the banning away the Nautilus, the amount of pressure that Full Metal is able to put with that Nautilus pick as the ASOL does get banned. TVA, they play the ASOL, but they're not even going to bother. They're like, get it out of here, get on the table. The Zach pick is open, and as we called, first pick right there, a very strong pick in the hands of either That Boy Truth or Panther, a fantastic flex. So, Team Volatility Avalanche, what do they have available to them? They have the Ornn pick still available and up. They've got the Xayah pick still available and up. Again, the Xayah was kind of what they picked into the Zach in the first one. Fantastic at avoiding those engages, but they are going to take the Ahri away. High-alert Henchman has picked that Ahri up both times, and the Thresh. They're going to take away 2 of the picks from High-alert Henchman's last draft.
Wow. This is going to be great to see these same tools in different hands, see what they can do with them. A lot of familiarity. It's one of those things where, like, you know, in theory, you're like, and the Morgana coming through. This is just, again, all the themes of the story coming back into play right here. This is good writing. Jinx being pulled into a third game as well.
That Morgana, though.
That Morgana, I know. Silver Spades up to no good once again. Holy fucking shit.
There it is. This is what we called out in game 1. TVA, they have those weird pocket pick bot laners that you don't see often. They pull out the Samira in game 2 to great success, and then Vayne in game 3. They've won games on Samira and Vayne already in this playoff series. So, and not in this series, but in their playoff run. Now, do I love the Vayne pick here? Not particularly. Jinx outranges it. Morgana is going to be very difficult for her to deal with in lane. And the Zach is just, you know, you only have one condemn, and there's just so many tools to get on you. It's not a very short range comp thus far. So
listen, that. I look at the champ and I see the player behind it. Iga Bajif has had a great
100%.
series so far. Now, of course, I would like to give a shout out to our street side reporter who says, I think they should pick Katarina here. And their name is Press to Katarina. Interesting. Maybe some bias reporting down there. Makes a lot of sense.
Good call out here from Lil Derlilia, the Shen ban coming through, throwing 2 respect bans over at Kreese. Oh no, they pivot, they ban out the Lee Sin, which again we love to see, but does leave the
remembering
Ornn
at that
up
last
here.
second.
Yep, you can 100% see it where they're like, no, ban the Ornn. No, ban the Lee Sin.
Hold on.
Yep, but they do ban with the Shen, which I think is a great takeaway here. That really allowed them to blow open the mid game and get that massive gold lead because of the team fight and skirmishes that Shen was able to kind of pivot in their favor. With the Taliyah picked up here now, Taliyah probably looking like it's going to go to the jungle would be my guess, and Ahri into the mid lane.
Because more walls to condemn against. Yes, give me that Lux. There it is.
They're doing it for you, dude.
Love it.
Loved actually this Lux pick here. Again, the Vayne is really good into kind of short range meat wall comps, and what do? We're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna take a step back, give us a little range here. The Lux in the mid lane, and the Mordekaiser coming through in the top lane. Kind of throwing the gauntlet down, like, what do you got? This was a ban that was banned away by TVA in the previous 2 games, but in order to pivot and ban the Twisted Fate, they left up the Mordekaiser here. So more than happy, that boy Truth, more than happy to take it away. I personally have been playing a ton of Mordekaiser as of late, and it feels incredibly strong. Picks the Ornn. Basically, the Ornn matchup, right, is really difficult if the Mordekaiser it gets ahead, right? But again, I was just about to call this out, and White Ninja 2222 in the chat, the ye old 4 AP team, you know, that is a triple AP topside. You have Mordekaiser, Zac, Lux, right? This Ornn is going to be able to build so much MR in the early stages of the game that it's going to be really difficult to abuse and really difficult come mid to late game team fights, because this Jinx is going to be the only tool they have to kind of burst through this Ornn, assuming the Mordekaiser doesn't just steamroll the lane. So a lot of tools on both sides here. You know, last game we were saying high alert Henchmen. A lot of the reason that game went so late, even when they were starting to close the margin, was because they were really struggling to find ways to start fights other than just dropping an ASOL ult on them and just eating at them. So in this game, pivots a bit. You know, they got the Morgana, they got the Zac to really start the team fight, the Lux. So with Morgana, Lux, they have a lot of pick potential here. So you love to see that. On the flip side, though, with a Taliyah and an Ornn, you know, that's a lot of team fight pressure. The Vayne doesn't quite fit fully in with that, but I respect. You know, sometimes you're just you pick with your gut. You don't pick with your head. So I respect that. That throws on the gauntlet. Give me the Vayne. I'm ready to carry. White Ninja, we self-countered Ornn last pick in his worst matchup. 100%. I was kind of flabbergasted. Honestly, I love playing Mordekaiser into Ornn. Even if Ornn gets ahead at a certain point, like you just win, right? You can just bully him out. You can just win an extended fight. You've got no mana, so you can just like stay in lane forever and out sustain him. It's a really good matchup for the Mordekaiser. And late game team fight, realistically, Team Volatility Avalanche, if you take out that Vayne, right, their team fight is really, really weak. So, you know, without that kind of sustained damage from that Vayne. So, you know, both teams kind of opting into this like heavy AP topside setup. And I think that kind of really benefits the side of TVA, because, you know, is that the only real true, well, not the only true, but like is a straight tank getting top lane gold, right? Whereas the Zac, yes, will be a tank and is able to build heavily MR, you know, so we'll probably win out in those 2v2s with the Taliyah Ahri if they can get the jump. But we'll have to see kind of how it all pans out. Once again, this is the finals of our commercial division, the final of this LBLCS season. This is a best of 5 series, and right now the team that came in as the top dog, only dropping 3 games this entire season, not matches, mind you, games this entire season. HAH looking to try and close the door on a 3-0 series, but TVA, the 3rd seed coming out of Group D, bit of an underdog story, right? 3rd seed in 4 groups, you know, going into this playoff bracket, definitely were not favorites to make it this far. But after winning a couple of close and competitive underdog matchups, here they are in the finals, showcasing what they got, and looking to bounce back after 2 games that really were sitting on a knife's edge for the majority of them. Game 1, yes, it was super close until they lost a 4v5 team fight and kind of got snowballed against, falling behind 5k gold and just unable to kind of bounce back with a big emphasis on a team fighting comp. Game 2, they pivot. They go for the early game comp. They go Lee Sin. They go Samira, Nautilus in the bot lane. They go all in on the other game. They get super far ahead. They get up to about 7K gold lead at a certain point in the game. But slowly but surely, the scaling comp from HAH with an Aurelion Soul, with a Jinx, with an Ivern, they just slowly come back into the game, winning team fights and skirmishes until finally the Aurelion Soul is just too much to deal with. Him in the mid lane, putting on an absolute clinic in game 2. And so now coming to game 3 here, both of these teams, once again, doing a little bit of a pivot. A little bit of the old, a little bit of the new, right? We got the Jinx and the Morgana and the Zac from the side of HAH, picks that we've seen them pick before. And on the other side, we see that the Ornn coming through again, and then the Ahri and Thresh takeaway, 2 champions that were picked in the previous game by HAH. So a little bit of old, a little bit of new, a little bit of exciting stuff to kind of keep it hot and fresh and right out of the kitchen for us. So love to see it. We're very excited to load into game 3 here. Only a minute away. How are you doing, dude?
Dude, lot on the line here. As you said, game 3 and TVA, yes, they've won. They've been the underdog, but they've been the underdog in a lot of these matchups, and they have persevered. If there's one thing this team's got, it's perseverance. And, I mean, they've already shown us that they deserve to be here. They're
100%.
on the level. They've got the capabilities to win. And I like, kind of like, you know, in this, like, 4AP kind of situation, there's always possibility, right?
Of course.
We talked about the fact that they do have some strange picks here. I'm personally very excited to see how this vein plays out. Obviously, being played into a difficult situation, but they knew that. They knew that.
Right.
This was picked with
Right.
intention. And I gotta say, you know, if you're gonna go out your way. Go out playing what you want to play because you believe in it. You know.
I could not agree more. You know, it comes in game 3, your season's on the line, right? You end right here, the season's over, right? You're not going to be able to come back from this. So Igabajif, you know, says, give me the ball. You know, I want the rock.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks his vein, right? Picks a pick that he's incredibly comfortable on, very clearly well practiced on it. And he's coming in here thinking that if I'm going out, I'm going out on my terms.
Mm-hmm.
And you love to see it. I mean, game 2, the Samira pick, right? I mean, not a pick we see very often. Not usually a pick that like succeeds particularly well.
But pivotal to the game.
Pivotal.
So
exactly.
much damage. Got 8-9 kills on it.
Yep.
Like, yeah, no, they're bringing everything they can to this series, and I'm excited to see what they can bring to this game in particular. Game 3, High Alert Henchmen versus Team Volatility. Avalanche. We are getting underway right away, and let's see what the beginning of game 3 will bring. Will we have a successful invade? It looks like no. We got the double 5-point spread, everybody in defensive positions, and I think you see this a lot on match point, right? Now there is actually so much on the line. There's no wiggle room. And honestly, listen, High Alert Henchmen is High Alert Henchmen is in the position to win out the series, to win the finals, right?
Not only just to win the finals,
but
to
that means that it's right there. And if they don't get it, it's always one, like just an inch away from being secured. And that can be a tough place mentally to be. If TVA's, you know, going to continue, how many reverse sweeps have we seen? And that is a little bit of the mental aspect of these 5-game series is, you know, hey, plenty of times we've seen the team that wins game 3 go on to win the entire series, whether that's the 2-0, right? Or it's the beginning of a reverse sweep.
100%. And from the side of HAH, right? This is probably looming in the back of their mind. This would probably be one of the most historic and dominant victories we've seen in the LBLCS, right? Only dropping 3 games.
A record-breaking season for sure.
Right. Only dropping 3 games the entire season would be an absolute insane accomplishment. And so, you know, as you said here, if they do drop this game, right? that's when like the doubt starts to creep in, right? That they can bleed, that they can lose. And that's a tough thing to deal with when you've been so absolutely dominant, right?
Yeah.
Already I feel so bad for Kreese. This is just such an annoying situation to be in.
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough for sure.
Just that boy Truth getting his Mordekaiser finally. First 2 games was banned away from him. So clearly they know that this is not a pick they want to be letting him get. And we're gonna see it in the early stage of this lane, just how annoying this Mordekaiser is for any melee champ to deal with realistically, right? I mean, just it has so many tools to bully you through the wave. And in the mid lane, the Bald Goose, right? Getting his hands on this Ahri, a champ that was picked away the first 2 games by HAH. Played first in the mid lane by him, and then taken up in the top lane by that boy Truth to varying degrees of success. So interested to see if he can bounce back after the clinic that him was able to put on. Icy Magic, though, prowling around here.
Yes, indeed. He's going to go for it. The early gank coming at a great angle. Wow, all the time in the world. And listen, you talked about it. You talked about how hard that lane might be. Full Metal, great flay. That's an exhaust down onto Ixnots. Igabajif going to be going forward. Let's see. They just don't have the damage and the tools just yet, but everyone's pretty willing to fight. But you talked about how difficult that matchup was going to be. They're aware of that as well. Icy Magic comes up and around. They get first blood once again.
Yeah, and the first blood goes onto Talia, which you really want, right? Talia has not been a pick that we see as much in the jungle anymore. A lot of hits to its early clears. So getting that early kill and that little bit of extra AP is going to make that clear so much smoother and allow her to kind of keep pace with Panther on this Zac pick, which is a fantastic clearing jungler. So really big pick up there with that first blood as the flay comes through from Full Metal. But both this bot lane, as you called out rightfully, neither bot lane really has the capabilities of
give them some time. Give them some time.
Right.
They'll get
exactly.
Yeah, no. Talia down here in the bot side of the map. In fact, there's a lot of tools that have yet to come online in this game. Once we reach that, 5th, 6th level situation, shit's gonna pop off very hard. I'm really interested to see how TDA plays into this Zac as well. I feel like it's always a toss-up when you have somebody, here we go, Icy Magic. Oh, him, very nice. Sidestepping every bit of CC, landing some of their own, deciding to stay in auto attack range just to get one auto off in return. I love it, so cheeky.
That was really clean. That was a really clean step back there to avoid the incoming skill shot there, which is what they're going to need, right? Him holding on to his flash is big, right? That as an immobile mage, I mean, you know it better than anyone. When you're playing those immobile mages mid, your flash is your lifeline. So.
Oh, speaking of flashes, there goes one right away by the Bald Goose.
Right on cue. Really good angle there from Panther, which is what you got to do, right? On this Zac pick. That's the kind of the unique selling point of Zac, right? If you're pitching Zac in a board meeting, the unique selling point is the angles in which it can kind of abuse lane matchups.
Oh, odd angles. God, that knockup didn't happen, right? God, another binding from Silver Spade. Somebody get out the whiteboard and markers. We should keep it tally.
Just missed the knock up there. Right. But Kreese really laying into him right now on this Ornn pick. That early gank and allowing, Kreese was able to clear the wave, push it into turret, and that boy Truth doesn't TP back in on that initial gank, which then gives Kreese the chance to get that null mage and just is able to just kind of walk at him. That boy Truth does not do enough damage at this exact moment.
Right.
That boy Truth, though, TPing in now, when he hits the 6, he can look then to try and abuse the power that he does have still, right? I mean, in an extended fight, especially when you R them and you take away a bunch of their stats, that's your angle to just try and do something here.
Totally.
Especially if the Ornn tries to ult you. This is also why the matchup is so miserable for Ornn. Ornn tries to ult you, you know, the Ram starts coming, you ult the Ornn out. Now he can't knock you up with the R.
Right.
And so it's a bit of a game of chicken to see who R's first.
Right. Binding does land here onto Full Metal. Great hook onto Nox, though. He is going to go in, and that flash away, and a flash to save themselves. Full Metal taking the pain train a little bit too far. Binding lands as well onto this Jinx. Onto this Vayne. Never even thought about the traps on you while you're standing in the Morgana pool as well. Just so much CC. Oh my god.
So much CC.
Full Metal gets out of there. That would have been devastating if Jinx had gotten a kill. Now, off of that.
No, and gets the if were to get the kill there too, gets excited, can just run at Igabajif here, who does not have boots, and it's not his tier 2. So would he just be able to run at him with the Morgana? Probably gets a double there, for being honest, or at least burns a summoner. So, whew, big sigh of relief that does not come to fruition.
Silver Spade just waiting in the weeds there. Panther gonna go over the wall. Nice flash from Kreese here. He's gonna get pulled back just a little bit. Red team will secure that dragon. A flash forward. There it is. They are really committing to this. Kreese, health bar going quite low. He calls the ult, but it's inside. Hold on, that boy Truth actually in a little bit of trouble right there. Oh!
Well played by that boy Truth. Saves the flash to flash away from the R and then just pulls him back in with that E. They do blow both ults and both flashes to get that boy Truth back into this game. You know, that was critical, right? Because if that boy Truth isn't able to push his advantage in the matchup, eventually Ornn is just more useful, right? Ornn is one of those champions that like oozes value.
Yeah.
So not now, though, with that kill under his belt, that boy Truth has the ability now to back, to get a good buy and come into lane with the ability to kind of start bullying around Kreese more. And Kreese, without R or Flash, is very vulnerable in this lane to that boy Truth. Because, again, can just kind of walk at him, and that boy Truth is going to out-sustain him. That's just what Mordekaiser does. So, huge gank there. Does blow a lot of resources to get it, but ooh, a great hook here.
Yeah, he's gonna go in. That's gonna be the ult being dropped right there. Igabajif ulting themselves. One more auto does it, a flash away. Igabajif gets the kill. Oh, but Zach is here. Let's see, do we have a Kadem in store? No, we have an amazing hook from Full Metal right there. And Igabajif just patiently weaving in those autos. They still have not backed, by the way. They've just got their starting item. This is pretty baller. And you know, we talked about that this was going to be difficult for Vayne. They're down in farm, but patience is key, especially when you're trying to pull off something like this. And Igabajif certainly has that in spades. Let's see what they get off this back. Second tier boots. Nice, some lifesteal, some more attack speed, and a pink ward to boot.
No, it's a great back. They're going to be very happy that they got that kill. Actually, massive kill.
In the lead. Sorry,
yeah.
Have more gold.
That is a massive kill, honestly, because now, you know, because if they don't get that kill there, right, that Vayne sticking around for as long as they did and still falling down 20 farm, you know.
Oh really my goodness.
Oh.
Just getting out of range of that E. That was huge.
Big flash there. So yeah, both flashes burnt in the mid lane. Both sums burnt for Igabajif in the bot lane. Both sums burnt for its Nox in the bot lane. Both sums burnt from the top lane. There are basically no sums on the map right now. So
people are using them.
People are using them. Both junglers now, I'm sure, as the grubs are about to spawn here, are probably definitely looking to get some tussling done, if we're being honest.
And Spooky, maybe we'll have some action. So those sums are in lieu of all of the kills. I mean, we're 11 minutes in and only 3 kills. We've seen these teams play, but hold on. As we
big
speak
TP.
them into existence, I see Magic gonna get some nice damage here onto that boy Truth, who is gonna ult Crease as well. Him walking up to lots of characters coming from different angles, and a massive connection as Zach lands the CC from him as well. The Bald Goose on the run. That's gonna be the rocket connecting as well. Massive play right there, and a huge turn of favor for High Alert.
Really well done there. That boy Truth actually plays that really well. Ults the Ornn and then just walks away. Just uses that ability of just the isolated 1v1 to buy room and space so that him shows up from the flank, lands a big combo to one-shot the Bald Goose. No, sorry, not the Bald Goose. To one-shot Crease.
Silver Spade ulting, Full Metal forced to flash over the wall. Igabajif ulting as well. Talia's on their way. The camera cuts to the mid lane where we see 2 people deal a little bit of damage to each other, and we don't see the cool fight. All right.
Just as it was meant to be. But big pickup there. All 6 grubs secured from the side of HAH. Grubs on this patch did get a massive buff. It is a very strong objective now. So grubs, much higher priority pickup for teams. So getting all 6 of them here off of a failed attempt in the bot lane, they're going to be very happy with that. As now they are up 1.8k gold on the side of HAH. And just, you know,
nice charm. Hold on. I see Magic is here. They're going to drop the ult. Bald Goose will fall, but can they get the kill in return? Him doing such a good job at sidestepping. It's going to come down to auto attacks here. Gets a little bit of health from leveling up as I see Magic flashes forward. Gets the kill and the double buffs to boot.
God, him is so freaking good.
Yeah,
it's
nuts.
just crazy.
Nuts.
He almost turns that around there, forces the flash of I see Magic. Just playing really, really well. Just playing on a knife's edge here. Able to get the last auto attack there to take out the Bald Goose. I mean, this man can do it all. He's playing this this matchup really, really well. So, you know, another big pickup there from the side of HAH is now Crease trying to look to kerfuffle, but this is kind of what it looks like now. Now that boy Truth has enough kind of components under his belt, he can kind of just walk the wave in, chunk out Ornn, and heal back up. So big hook there, but I don't think it's going to come out much. I'm not going to want to do much into this Morgana. Dragon gets picked up by HAH now.
Pretty good about themselves.
Here we go.
They're going to drop the ult to flash away.
Away.
Oh, Crease actually had an opportunity there.
Pause comes through. I wonder if there was a little bit of a lag there from that boy Truth. Seemed to we've seen him pilot his champion quite well at a certain point. But it's baby aggro for Goose.
Baby aggro.
A little bit of baby aggro here. Totally reasonable. Small awkward pause timing from Lilia. Yeah, a little bit, but looking at where we are in this game right now, small advantage for HAH. 1 dragon apiece, 6 grubs over on the side of HAH, which is going to feel really good, in particular for a champion like Mordekaiser, who, although has the ability to kind of bully a side lane, his turret taking ability just exacerbated so much by having those 6 grubs.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like glancing at this mini map right here. We've got Rift Herald that's going to come up pretty soon. Talia has just backed. Assuming these top laners are going to back too, I'm guessing we might get some sort of play for them up there. Although, you know, Morgana and Jinx are pretty far up in the bot lane. Maybe there's some opportunity to pull a play down there. Still lots of opportunities. Gold lead, not too crazy in either direction. Who do you think? We talked about scaling a lot last game, right? Who do you think comes out in the end if we scale into infinity? Whose bar is higher?
Ooh, that's a tough one. You know, it's tough to give scaling advantage to any team against any team that has an Ornn, right? But honestly, if we're looking at both sides here, I'm actually probably going to give the edge to HAH. I just feel as though in the late game, right, the margins for error for TVA's carries is so low because of the Lux and of the Morgana, right? If you're late game full item Lux or full item Morgana, if any 3 of the carries on the side of TVA get tagged by a single ability, they're so dead. They're dead immediately, and there's absolutely nothing that can be done about that. So on the other side, though, that TVA, the Ari, because it is not ahead at this moment. It's not ahead at 13 minutes. That means going into the late game, it is not going to be that late game damage dealer that they would need here. White Ninja 22222 calls out Vayne with Maw and Wits End ain't dying to no mage spells. I mean, potentially, I'm going to be honest. I think that with a full build Lux with Magic Pen, and it's not just that you get hit by a single mage, right? I mean, you get hit by a Morgana.
Lot of mages out there.
You get hit by a Morgana binding with a Lux laying on top of it with the pool underneath you. There's really not a lot you can do about that. And yeah, I think, as I said, I think that the scaling is on the side of HAH. I think the Morgana paired with this Jinx is going to be really difficult to deal with. I think a Black Shield on this Jinx is going to do absolute work. And I think that, especially going into the late game when that E is fully maxed up and she's got a ton of AP under her belt, that Black Shield is going to be such a nightmare to deal with. And this poor Ornn has the capability of just getting absolutely shredded. Plus, yeah, the Vayne might not get, but I don't know if the Vayne's going to even be in a fight because unless they buy and they can't even buy a QSS because it no longer works on Mordar, but Mord is just going to pull that Vayne out of the fight immediately. And without that Vayne, I think the team fight is so over. So
and do you think it's more that Vayne being removed from the team fight, that team fight's over? Do you think Mord wins that 1v1? Obviously, they're capable of doing that, but
I mean, Mord can win that 1v1. It has to hit all of his abilities. If misses a single ability, Vayne probably wins that. But if the Vayne is stuck in that thing for an entire 1v1 battle, then you've already won, right?
It comes down to some terrain possibly as well. So Talia ult, right? Creates terrain. Mordekaiser pulls you into his little death dimension. Is Talia ult in that other space as well?
I don't believe. Oh, we're loading back into the game. Perfect. I don't believe so. Okay. For example, a Trundle Pillar or a Jarvan All is not. Yeah, White Ninja confirms it in the chat.
Definitive.
No. Yeah, because I've never seen it with a Talia, but every other terrain generating ability does not work in there. So
makes sense.
Stands to reason that it wouldn't. So yeah, which is why in general, Mordekaiser is a fantastic pick into a Jarvan, into a Trundle, any of these into just rip them out, or into like an Alawi, into a Yorick, any champion that needs to generate little guys or tentacles or anything like that. Mordekaiser is fantastic into because it just pulls you out of it, and you don't have any of that, right?
The rare ability representation that is like the antithesis of the power of friendship. This is just
exactly.
It's just about you. It's individuality.
You have no friends.
Yeah, stand on your own merits in this in this dimension that I've created where I can win.
Right, it's where I've stripped your stats,
right,
and have forced you to stay very close.
Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I did.
Oh, so this is an economics.
I don't know where you're getting
metaphor.
that, dude. This is just how I feel.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair.
Wow, Silver Spade missing a binding.
A rare Q miss. Rare
now
Q miss.
It did require them to have no vision, but it's just good to know that it can happen.
Right? He's not infallible.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Smash cut to
exactly
landing the perfect binding.
But yeah, as we're kind of getting into a bit of a lull state here, the Herald is up, and it looks as though, you know, HAH is pushing up into this topside jungle. See if they can set something up.
If we roll back the tapes, we'll see that this is a rare play call from LeChance, as all the backing was happening at the right time. They were going to go for Herald.
Don't sell yourself short. Not a rare. You get that all the time.
Thanks, man. Now, the team I said was going to go and get it is not getting it, but that's
but
okay.
Come on. You know, you had a 50-50 chance.
They're
on that,
around.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, no. They are there. They're fighting for it. I was right.
Yeah.
Herald down to half health. Oh, there he is once again. Silver Spade lands the binding, the follow-up from him, and there's just so much damage.
So crucially, when they reset their impact, both bot laners from the side of TVA. Oh, is he going to get anything here?
Really going for this? Do they have tumble again? The flash from Nox right there. That was such an interesting interaction of the tower dying. Jinx got excited. That was the movement speed they needed to get away. But Igabajif had Ghost and was tumbling forward. But one more auto would have done it.
100%. But crucially blows both sums from its Nox, which is huge. But yeah, critically for that Rift Herald there, when both teams reset, the bot lane of TVA went bot, including the support, whereas only its Nox went into the bot lane. Silver Spade went and helped set up on that Herald. So it wasn't a man advantage, and by the time that Full Metal got there, the damage was already done and the pick had already happened. So a good rotation there from Silver Spade.
That's Magic seizing an opportunity right here. Silver Spade forced to flash. Absolutely. Panther here. Okay. Hook goes through in the air. No play from Full Metal, as now Igabajif in a good spot right here, but Silver Spade is going to walk up. Igabajif has a lot of targets they need to weave between, and there is no tower to fall back on. Bald Goose going to be pulled into the Nether Realms right there and taken down by that boy Truth. They will fall. Kreese running up. They do have ult. God, Lux Binding is so annoying. It goes so far. It hits 2 targets. It's crazy the range at which Lux can fuck with your day. Great charge there by Chase. Dodges the binding. Oh! The spell shield. Anti-synergy. Gets Kreese out of there.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see why so much priority is placed on this Zac pick there.
Yes.
Just an absolutely a simple and effective engage that you know, then leads to him ulting and just being able to sustain through basically everything that gets thrown at him. A really powerful pick in the hands of Panther here. As now a little bit of drifting from Silver Spade.
Spade on a mission.
Feeling a little light in the caboose, a little light and loose. Takes the the Herald around for a little bit of a drive.
They downloaded the wrong directions from MapQuest. Full Metal gonna go in right here over the wall. Silver Spade is the target, but that's a massive knock for the backline. Igabajif in a lot of trouble here, as that boy Truth is going to get the kill. Flash forward onto Icy Magic. 2 members of TVA down. A third follows. Not far behind. The double kill for the Mordekaiser is massive. Kreese on the run now. The rest of the team is going to start to turn. They've just got a lot of chase. They just have a lot of chase. It's an Ornn. He's got tanky stats. It might take a minute, but he'll probably go down in the end. Though he's found his way to Nox, he does fall. He does
the kill
fall.
goes over to Nox.
Dragon. Yeah, Nox.
Big. A good fight there, honestly. Really well played from that boy Truth. Flashes into the face of the Bald Goose and just kind of, onto Icy Magic and just kind of forces him out of there. You know, Silver Spade, they all kind of jumped onto him hoping, but he had the stopwatch, cracks the stopwatch, gets his ult down, gets a ton of damage, survives so much longer than they think, and he buys just enough time for that boy Truth and Panther to get onto the back line. As now, this Mordekaiser with the slow from the Rylai's, we're seeing why it was banned away in the first 2 games. So yeah, he's doing a lot of work here on that Mordekaiser. You know, fell behind a little bit early, but you know, after a couple kills, is now looking, oh, as a big and damn here. But he's not gonna go for it. Smart move, not going for it.
Yeah, for sure. Zach once again just getting the flank, but flanks on flanks on flanks. I see Magic coming around as well, but this is a 2v3, and just Nox is here with the damage. They're excited, gonna chase down I see Magic. Great kiting, great spacing between those autos. Jinx gets the double kill. Honestly, Baron might even be on the table.
Yeah, it honestly might be up about 7k gold now, and it really that play, you know, kind of felt like a desperate, you know, we got to make something happen. They can feel the series slipping away. They feel that their season slipping away. Try to make something happen there. Almost get it. I see Magic just a little off on the flip back. Isn't able to secure the kill, as it is going to be the Baron going over to HAH. Ornhorn comes down, but gets rooted up. Silver Spade, he don't miss those. Is that boy true? Oh my god, that Mordekaiser just does so much damage.
So massive. Igabajif trying to cut down this Mordekaiser. Priest living for actually quite a long time, but they're just not able to get close enough to deal that damage. The Baron backs are here. High alert in a very commanding position.
Oh yeah, they came into this game 3 looking hungry and looking ready to close this out. They can taste the victory. They can taste the trophy that doesn't exist except in their minds. And they're just they're so ready to close this out, and you can see it in them. They're all playing very on top of their game right now. And from the side of TVA, you know, as we said, just there after those first 2 games, I think a little bit of the desperation setting in after that game 2 where they were in such a good position, right? It cannot be understated, it can't be overstated just how well they played the first 3 quarters of game 2. It really was a really impressive early game performance that kind of put the fear into high alert, put high alert on high alert, so to speak. And so
they came correct in this game.
They really did. They really did. You know, they you can tell they were like, okay, that was a little too close for comfort. Time to lock it in. And they do. And they get, you know, they get honestly 4 of their most comfortable picks, right? They get the Mordekaiser in the top lane, they get the Zac in the jungle, and then this Jinx Morgana, right? Nox has gotten 3 games of Jinx this series and has looked good in all 3 of them. And Silver Spade, we saw what he did in game 1 on that Morgana, so to get it again in this game, you know, they're on comfort, but it's also a really strong team comp. And then him, I mean, he plays everything. It looks like.
Way!
Oh my god!
Shit.
Oh my god!
An incredible rocket from downtown. That was massive from Nox.
That was so sick. Oh, it's Nox. Oh my god, that was so good. That's a tilter. That's a tilter if you're on Bald Goose and you're walking back to base like that. Like, oh, that has to hurt so bad.
Oh, a hook out of the air though. Full metal. Fantastic. Nice condemn too. Priest gonna call the Ornhorn, gonna get 1 knockup right there. Hook only gonna land on a minion, but the double binding and the damage coming from Lux. Igabajif on the side here, trying to tumble away, forced to flash. On great hook there, onto Nox. Nox is taken out. Igabajif going forward. That's Talia ult coming across. Zac is gonna cancel the jump as another kill is being picked up. Silver Spade on the run, lands the binding. Bald Goose looking to get a kill here. Has to flash away. Okay, that's gonna be passive. Does Bald Goose have the damage? That's the question. Is it enough? No, he's actually back up. Great charm, but this is just coming down to auto attacks. There it is. The Q comes on the comeback with the true damage. They do finally get that kill. Hey, TVA picks up 3 kills.
Picks up 3 kills, just gets hand delivered to them. Little overzealous there from HAH, as that boy Truth does get get a turret and almost takes another one in the top lane during that whole skirmish. I mean, rightfully by TVA, they were like, you know what, let's ignore this Mordekaiser for now and let's see if we can get something going in the mid lane. Full metal there with the absolute Herculean play, and where he hit 2 critical hooks, namely the hook that pulled Zac out of his engage and flayed him away, and then the hook over the wall onto its Nox, seals his fate, signs the death sentence as Kabos 667 Full Metal opened the death note and passed the note to Nox. Ain't that the truth? as a, objective bounty gets
Now they've
secured
gotta
here.
Get out. That's the real problem. Getting this dragon was good. The binding
Ooh.
misses. That's crucial. Hey, looks like... Oh, Bald Goose diving back in. So dangerous. Please don't give me a heart attack. Hey, they get that dragon. That's actually huge, right? Gives them a little bit more time to kind of close the doors on their base. Just take these waves as they come in. They don't have to worry as much about soul. Baron
100%. They get a 600 gold objective bounty off of that as well. So a nice little pickup there. Makes the gold lead, brings the gold lead under the 10K mark, which, every little bit at this point helps, and gonna be very happy with that. Additionally, Ornn wasn't even there, right? So the fact that they get it, the objective, they get out without expending anything. Ornn still has his TP, able to clear waves in the top lane to make sure that their wave states are in a good position. They don't sacrifice anything for that objective. So really well played there. A nice little incremental advantage. You're gonna need to keep stacking those if they're gonna want to come back. But you know how you eat a whale?
One bite at a time.
Damn right. So they just took a pretty good bite right there.
Dude, there it is. Zach has been looking at this engage for like a minute right there, but a nice double knockup from Kreese as the Ornhorn's being called as well. I see Magic in here with some damage too. Full metal. Where's the Vayne on the side lane with the Mordekaiser right now? Zach charging up again to get out as Morgana has been taken out. Gone down. Oh, that binding lands. Kreese still pushing forward. They think they might find something. Zach gonna get hooked right here by Full Metal. That's another Lux ult. I think the fight started with the Lux ult. The cooldown so low. But now Igabajith is here. They've got that Vayne damage if it pops off again. That was a 1 for nothing.
That was a 1 for nothing. I mean, honestly, really well played there. A fantastic Talia wall. Kind of keeps them all choked up together and allows that Ornn to hit 2 3-man knockups. First with the E, then with the R. Or first with the R, then with the E. So really keeps them in place there long enough. Unfortunately, they did not have Igabajith on that Vayne, which is a lot of their sustained DPS. So
Full Metal with the play.
There we go.
Into the charm, into the hook as well here. They do have damage, but it's going on to this Zach, who is so tanky. Bald Goose gonna use his last charge to dive forward. One more auto would have done it, but the Vayne gets caught instead and taken out. That's so much damage gone, but the fight is not done just yet. There's the double binding from Lux, a double kill for them as well, and it's just IC Magic, the triple kill. Oh, I think that was a quadra. That was a quadra for the Lux. Just dishing out damage.
Him is him. Him is him. I mean, this guy, what an absolute MVP performance this series. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm definitely voting for him as my MVP of this series. I mean, this guy has just been put on an absolute clinic.
Understandably so, 100%. If for no other reason, they earned it in that game to win, and they are looking to make this third game a win as well, as Kreese takes so much abuse by just, 3 members hitting you for 12 uninterrupted seconds. You gotta fall eventually.
Exactly. And Ornn can only get so tanky before eventually he's just going to die.
Though that's going to be a binding on the side. Him getting some more damage off with another ult up. That boy Truth looking so low here. Oh, bindings. Hard to tell who's in. The shutdown for the Talia. Jinx Rocket didn't kill anybody, right? No. Okay.
No, it's not. No. No, they didn't get anyone there. They kind of just overstayed a bit after getting 2 inhibitors. But that's a big pickup, those double inhibitors here. Get a little light and loose as they go to close up this game. They've been very, very disciplined, we've seen all series long, and now starting to get a little lax here as they're going to close out the series.
Yeah, I gotta say, don't call it a comeback at all. There's a long, long way to go for that, but this is what it would look like.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This is. You can't just keep giving these types of kills over, right? These small incremental advantage. Eventually, it's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Would be everything. Another piece of the puzzle as IC Magic makes some magic of their own. So massive. If they can get out of this My God, they stole the Elder in game 2. They stole the Baron in game 3, giving themselves a chance at this. As they gathered around the Baron, and I was saying that, I was like, you know, the next part of the sequence would be that they steal this Baron, and they absolutely do. Just surfing by as well. Magic just went shopping, and another tool to defend this base. Holy shit. I cannot believe they did that.
Just refusing to lose. A really, really well-played steal there from IC Magic. As you said, rides on in and then rides off into the sunset after he takes the Baron. The Dragon is going to go over. Now it is an Ocean Soul point for HAH. But yeah, a really good steal from IC Magic, who on this Talia has 7 kills, has 3 completed items, is doing a good amount of work on this pick. But you know, you look across at the carries there for the side of HAH as a big engage now comes through onto this Ornn.
Yes,
can't think he can do anything here.
Yeah, this is going to be a team fight. Massive Luxol right there. The Ornn's being called. Does not connect with anybody, though. Oh. That's going to be some rooting. Oh, my God. Just red health bars being obliterated. That's a double kill for the Jinx, and Ikabajib is the only one left alive as the triple kill comes through. That is likely the Quadra. That is likely the entire series as High Alert Henchmen cement themselves in the annals of the LBLCS history books. Only 3 games dropped. They were not going to drop one more in these finals right here. Congrats to them. What a series.
Whew. What a series indeed. Just big-time performances across the board. High Alert showing us why they came in as the #1 seed from their group, showing us why they did not drop a series. Just a really, really impressive performance across the board. Big shout-outs to That Boy Truth on that Mordekaiser pick. Looked really, really strong. Him, of course, is him. Hashtag him is him. And then in that bot lane, it's Nox, Silver Spade, cleaning it up, just looked so strong. And who could forget Panther on that Zac pick, making it look so strong. Just a really overall fantastic performance from High Alert. Just an absolute blast to watch, an absolute blast to cast. And wow, that was fun.
Yeah, what a incredible series. Spooky, I know that
we got
that is an important thing. We're definitely doing an interview. I was just saying, if you want to leave or if you have to leave, you can, but we're definitely doing an interview for sure.
Baby, I was gearing up for a 5-game series.
Dude, you absolutely you were.
Get this interview in here.
All right, let's at High Alert Henchmen. Who wants to come in? We can bring the whole team if you want. In fact, we'd love to have you all. Smiley face.
Love it.
Well, we'll just go with an exclamation point because I'm too slow.
Got those old typey fingers.
Got those old typey fingers. Just drag whoever's in community. All right. We are going to be pulling them in no particular order. Welcome to the desk. High Alert Henchmen. What an incredible series. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to ask you a question. Spooky's going to ask you a question. We're going to bounce back and forth. Feel free to interrupt each other if you want. And then at the end, we're going to give you each a chance to say something.
All right.
So my first question, and I don't even quite know who to direct this to. I don't know if this is your standard starting lineup or what the deal is, but guys, only dropping 3 games. I mean, we can talk about this series, but I'm curious if you have any thoughts about your season. Bringing that dominance into this finals, I mean, that's incredible. What was your season like?
Well, I'll answer this a little bit. Going into scrims, we were like pretty inexperienced playing with each other. Throughout the entire season, we got just better and better, and we just ramped up. We have yet to drop a series, I believe, in and out of scrim. So
wow.
The dominance is continuing.
Wow.
We're moving up to financial next season.
Hell yeah, you are.
Yeah, we were fortunate that we gelled very well together. I wasn't supposed to be the top laner. I was supposed to be the sub in the top laner. The top laner that we picked had stuff that was going on in his life that he couldn't play. So I kind of got thrust in as a mid lane, off role, top lane player. And these guys really just embraced me as being a part of the team, and I really appreciate them.
Yeah, he was just a full-time sub.
Classic full-time sub. That's where the Ari top comes from.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That makes total sense. Well, that's awesome. I have a question, again, kind of directed at any of y'all here. Going into this series, right? What was kind of the game plan looking at that? You guys had 2 weeks off, right? How did you guys stay on top of it? Were you still scrimming a lot? And what kind of prep did you guys do for your opponents here, who honestly put up a hell of a fight, especially in that game 2 matchup there. So walk me through, what kind of prep did all you guys do?
Silver, Panther, Nux. Any of you want to take that?
I think the main thing as far as our prep was just making sure that we don't int dress. Like you mentioned earlier, we dropped 3 games, and all 3 of the games we felt like we dropped. We just felt like we just kind of didn't play what we were like used to playing and like good with playing with. So learning from those 3 games, and it's probably quite fortunate that we did lose those 3 games. We kind of just like, bro, like these kind of things don't work for us, and we just need to play for us and not play against them. And that just kind of worked for us going through the whole season. But specifically for TV, we just kind of like took our time and just respected them as players. We obviously like had some picks that we just didn't want to play against. Nyla, for example, like fuck that. I mean, excuse my language.
You're all good.
You're good, bud. You're good.
Forget that champion, but like it's just like it's a tough play. But just overall, we're just playing like things that we felt comfortable with and things that work for us all season. Besides the Lux, that is.
Was the Lux a new? Was that a last second pick?
I have not picked it at all this season, but Lux is one of my favorite champions, and yeah.
Dude, it showed.
It showed, dude. It showed.
He just likes her skins.
I mean, just speaking of him, just the next natural question is game 2, that A-Soul game. I mean, what are the comms? You guys really pulled back on that one. There was Spooky. Do you remember what the gold lead was? Was it
6,000?
6,000. Yeah, like it looked like you guys needed to stall hard, and you were able to.
Yeah, A-Soul is one of my all-time best champions. I think as of right now, I have like 100 or so games on him with like a 80-something% win rate.
Ideos, Mios.
Wow.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah. He is one of my favorite champions ever, and I'm very, very comfortable on him.
Oh, it showed. Oh, it showed.
Also, like going into that, like while we were playing that game, it just kind of felt like we had the better late game team, and so we were kind of like skirmishing earlier in the game, and we're like, bro, why are we fighting these guys when we could just play like 40+ minutes into the game and we think it's unplayable for them? So
yeah,
we just kind of like, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I had a free double kill bot and I fat fingered my flash when I pressed R and I jumped right into Nautilus' face. And I was like, I literally like our cons were literally just like, I was literally laughing and I was like, oh shit, dude, I fucked up, my bad.
I mean, man,
but then like it's just like we knew, like we fucked up like across the map and we were just like, all right, well, it was no one ever said like, all right, let's think about next game. It was like we can still win this. Cons were staying positive the whole time. Silver is a good driving force for that. Like everyone just stay positive. We're like, just scale, man, we're good.
Love it. Silver, are you? Oh, so okay. So is it a collective shot calling system? Like, how do you guys communicate in the game?
I would say collective shot call. Often Nox sometimes leads the big macro decisions, and I see Panther making a lot of shot calls like mid-fight on who to target. But throughout the game, it's very, very balanced on who's speaking.
I just yell at people to get to objectives early, and then they don't
I tell them to ward.
I
wards him.
Yeah, I kind of just scream obscenities.
Truly a collective.
A critical role in.
Yeah, I'm just like, and fucking get him. Let's go.
It's necessary for us to win.
I'm the bearer of our team. I'm the bearer of our team.
I love that. I love that.
Hey, Silver Spade.
Yeah.
Is Morgana your best champion?
So I'm glad you asked because I had a reputation before joining this team of not being a team player, and they flamed me because I picked Morgana. So I'm glad I can set that record straight.
It was honestly,
Yes.
it was more shocking to see you miss a binding than it was to see you hit one. It actually became quite boring to see you land all of these skill shots.
There was a you threw out a in lane sometimes when you just gotta throw out some spells, and you threw out a binding, it missed, and we were like, oh good, he's not scripting. We know you don't have scripting in this game.
It's crazy that you guys mentioned the bindings. I felt like the black shields were significantly
Black shields
more
were
crazy.
insane, dude.
There was
He
two
saved
times
you.
where he black shields me, and I cleanse because I think that the black shield is not the real time, and he's black. I'm like, bro, who is this guy?
Nox.
Reflexes.
That truly laning with this Morgana must be like it's just the elite deluxe package, every safety feature. I saw a picture perfect spell shield that saved you from a Leona ult in game 1. Saved somebody, maybe, I don't know, but it was just wild. Silver Spade, you've got hands for sure.
Silver has done his
I've got the
fair
old
share.
man reflexes because I'm old as I'm old,
Silver has-
so it just makes it look that much more
Bro.
impressive.
It's
when
wisdom.
It takes me half a second more.
Oh yeah.
So-
for sure.
So
we
there's
gotta be
like
the
this
oldest team.
there's like a meme on the team where Silver, like, I'm like in a precarious situation and I'm just like, oh, I'm dead, and Silver's like, no, you're fine, and then for some reason I'm just fine afterwards. This happened like 12 times throughout the season, and it's the craziest thing. But just to speak to Silver as a player, like, I feel like this series we didn't exactly play. I think it was me kind of holding Silver back this series. I feel like I didn't play to like my potential, but like Silver has just been this rock this whole time throughout the season, and it's just been a pleasure to lane with him for sure.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. I mean, that's when a team is at its best, right? And you have the even if you don't feel like you're playing up to your potential, you got teammates there who will bring you up, who will level it out for you. So that's fantastic to see. So you guys are the champions. A fantastic run through this playoffs, through this season. I would say the highs and the lows, but basically just the highs.
High alert, baby.
High alert, baby. So going down the line, give me a shout out here. You know who you want to thank, who you want to call out for next season, going up to the next division. You know, whatever you want to do, it's your time. Take it away. Yeah, you go first.
Yeah. Oh, man, just putting me on the spot like this. I think I proved myself. I think I'm worthy of my name.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Bear.
Hashtag him is him.
You're up, Nox.
Honestly, bro, so this is only my second season at LBLCS, and I felt like I was jailed my first season, so I don't really have anybody that I'm like looking forward to playing, or like I'm not super familiar with the teams, but I just hope that I have a good showing next season, and we can run it back to the finals next season as well.
Yeah, you had to play with that truth guy. Of course you were jailed. What?
Oh my God.
Panther.
No, I'm last.
Silver
Alright.
Spade.
Silver Spade.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Bear. Like, he brought the energy even when he wasn't playing. It's just a great org. Glad they picked me up. Obviously, Nox, best ADC I could have asked for. So, I'll thank Bear now. Next season, there may be some love lost since we're going up, but.
Love the bot lane love. That boy Truth.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the season, I was having a hard time finding a team, to be honest, so I took a sub role to kind of like prove that I could be a good teammate. I know that there was some bad narratives about me and things of that nature, so I just want to thank my teammates for allowing me to play and, you know, letting me play my wacky picks like Twisted Fate. You know, I'm probably not going with them next season because my skill level is not there to be playing off-role and financial, so I don't know what my future holds just yet. But, you know, I just want to say thank you to my teammates for, you know, carrying me along, letting me play freaking Karma. And, you know, at least they won't have to hear, yo, what counters this champion? Yo, it's Twisted Fate. Like, literally every time someone asks me what champion's to counter, I'm like, yo, just pick me Twisted Fate. So thank you guys, man. I really appreciate you guys. And,
Of course, man.
you know, I love you guys.
It's been an honor playing with you.
Truth, listen, I think you'll have a pretty easy time in the free agent channel with a resume like this.
100%.
Thank you.
All right, now finally, Panther, you're up.
Hey, I came up just to say this. This is going to touch a little bit on all-star voting, but it is put some respect on the name of our bot lane. The fact that they are not first team when they're the best bot lane in the entire LBLCS is ridiculous. And then Truth not making all-stars at all when all season he's done whatever he's asked, absorbed pressure, been a team player, and won every single lane not feeding. That is ridiculous. He is a great player. Somebody needs to give him a shot next season because he'll carry your team.
Love it.
Thank you.
All
Hell
right,
yeah.
folks. Thanks
What's
so
up,
much for
baby?
coming on. And
Yeah, wait, real quick. Can I say one more thing?
yeah,
Malphite check.
Rock solid, baby.
Rock solid.
love it.
Rock solid.
Love it. All right. Have a good rest of your evening, guys. You'll be receiving your prize, which of course is a Discord tag, later on, probably this month. And you'll have that Discord tag until the heat death of the universe.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
fantastic.
Thank you to LBLCS
Yeah,
for like
thank
even
you.
hosting this. This
Yeah,
is
great
absolutely
season,
amazing.
everyone.
And
This is the
appreciate
coolest
you
thing I've
letting
ever
us
been a
play,
part
for
of.
sure.
Lots of fun people, so
Thank you, guys.
We love to
Oh,
hear
yeah.
it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good rest of your
GGs.
night, y'all.
Jesus, bye.
GG's. Okay. Well, we've done it again. Spooky, an absolute pleasure casting the final with you here
Honestly,
tonight.
I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, I'm here in my kimono. I'm here feeling good, feeling light, feeling loose in the caboose. What a great season it's been. We've had some great matches that we've cast. We've had some great matches that, I got to watch you play in. All the divisions showed up. It's been such an exciting playoffs. Another fantastic season in the books for the LBLCS. And for those of you that are still watching, make sure that you're ready to go and sign up when the next season rolls around, to get in on the fun. It's always a blast, no matter, even if you're a fan, if you're a player, if you're, everything in between, get involved, because this is a hoot.
Love it. Absolutely. Yeah. The next thing that will probably happen is All-Stars / charity event. So keep
Always
an
a big
eye
hit.
out
Always
for that.
a blast.
It's
Always a
so
blast.
much fun. It's so much fun. Such a silly thing. Don't worry, Bear. I will pay out. You will get your schmeckles. And yeah, listen, a cheers to season 12, one of our biggest seasons ever. And to the future as well, as we officially enter the off season in the LBLCS, where some pretty silly things also happen. Well, we're gonna raid Blue Otter because that's the polite thing to do, and we're nothing if not polite. Good night, everybody.
Night.